We're live. Woo, woo, woo. Hi, everybody. Okay, good. Well, my apologies. We had some interesting tech issues this morning. When we were supposed to start at 10 a.m. Mountain, which is 11 a.m. Central, which is what we told you guys. And then for some reason, the system got the hour wrong. So it says we're starting in an hour. So we've hopefully got that reset. So everybody will start to see us. And then also, my camera wasn't seeing me. So we've had lots of repairos going on, and I hope you can see me. Please say hi wherever you are, and let me know how if you can hear me, if you can see me. If everything is working, and welcome. So, this is I am Akasha. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. And what we're doing today is the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is something I've done now for 4 years, 5 years. Yay! Airtag, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. So it's interesting to connect across the ethers together and to navigate the tech. And when you do energy work like we do, it really does some interesting things. So my beloved Chris has been in tech, was one of the first people online, literally got me online 18, 19 years ago, helped American Express get online. So he, um, he is so quiet and sweet and wonderful. He never gets upset, but I'll hear him tell other people who say, "Oh, I do this energy work and it really affects my computer or something." And he just goes, "Oh, you have no idea what I see." He'll tell me, "I've never heard of that. That's not possible." And so we've had Zoom calls where we've got people in two different universes and everything. But we're here. All right. So, hi, Joy from Wales. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, Joy, I'm going to be very close to you in October. Maybe you can come to see me in Glastonbury. I'm doing an incredible retreat, and I'm also doing. I haven't really mentioned much about it yet, but I'm also doing a certification, a sacred magic healing class at the Goddess House there. So make sure that you check out all of the wonderful things that we have coming up. And the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is what we're here to really dive into today. Why? Because intuition has been something that's been poo pooed and repressed, that's been seen as silly or evil for so long that it's actually embedded in our consciousness, in our cells. And what happens is people who don't really even think about it will say things like, "What are you, a witch?" Or "Don't do that, that's evil," or whatever. So if you're here with me, you probably use oracle cards at the very least, tarot cards, runes, pendulum, angel numbers. That's divination, and that's using your intuition. The longest time, I don't even know how long, I've been doing this for 38 years in this life alone. That I don't have it anymore. One of those animal spirit guide books, right? That tells you like, oh, you saw an otter or four eagles, and then you look up what is the meaning, what is the spiritual message from them. Now, the truth is that you are here to awaken and become, okay, the natural intuitive conduit for spirit, for guidance, to be the creator that you were designed to be. And we have all been told a bunch of lies about what that means, whether we can trust our inner voice, whether we can hear our higher self, whether our angels are really talking to us, whether our husband's grandmother just appeared in the room with us, or what. So the truth is that you may be doing this for a long time. Maybe you remember as a child, right, that being super intuitive or having your imaginary friends. There's a lot of movies out right now about imaginary friends. So this is becoming a conversation. My sister used to get very mad at me. She's 4 years older. "You're so embarrassing. You're always skipping down the road talking to invisible people." And I was all like, "Yeah, isn't it awesome?" And so what happens is most of us, depending on how old you are and how you were raised, which is most people, in a very practical, intellectual way, or perhaps a religious way that said, this is evil. You cannot get direct access to God or goddess. You do not know. You have to go through the church. You have to pay someone else. You have to listen to the external authority. Well, we are over that. Okay. So we are getting direct access again at very, very, very accelerated rates. And what does that mean? Maybe you're having vivid dreams. Maybe you're having visitations or visions. Maybe you feel drawn to the I Ching or the runes. Maybe you want to start learning the pendulum or body compass or dowsing and crystals and dragons and all of these wonderful topics. They're not just for fun. This is part of our reality that is more real once you start to access these realms, more real than anything else in the physical, because all those subtle realms come first, and we're all part of the same consciousness. We're all part of the same energy from divine realms. So that infinite divine realm that we all come from has infinite possibilities, infinite potential, infinite solutions, infinite ways for you to make money, infinite ways for you to heal your body, infinite ways for you to find your soulmate, infinite ways for you to get out of a relationship, infinite ways for you to figure out where you're meant to live. Oh, astrocartography. That was one I forgot to put in the list today. So what I want to do is play with this for 2 days. So we're going to play today. We're going to play tomorrow. I hope you'll come. I'm really excited to do some readings for you. I've invited some of my clients who've been in my intuition classes before to please come. I have one divine, wonderful lady who lives in Glastonbury. Oh my gosh. Going to come on tomorrow and share how she came to the Intuition Awakening School several years ago. She then took the certification course and immediately began to go to psychic fairs, began to make money, and it is her full-time business to do. And this is years later. And she reached out to me recently. I'm super excited to see her. And when I get to Glastonbury in September, and what happens is that this changes your life. So you don't have to be a healer or a psychic or a whatever, a light worker or something like that. You could just use this to enhance your life. All right, to enhance your self-confidence, your self-love, your wisdom, to understand that you are getting direct guidance, not everyone else's opinion, not your past fears. We'll talk about that in a minute, that block you from getting the information that is available in every moment. There is an infinite amount of solutions and guidance and information ready for you. And it's right there. And if you follow your bliss, those doors will open. The magical mentors, or perhaps the fairy goddess mother like me, will appear for you, and you will know that this is the right path. So perhaps you were like me and you've had times in your life where you just knew you were meant to do something, but you didn't know why. And you couldn't explain it to other people. You couldn't say, why? Many of you have heard my story that 7 nights in a row, I walked into the bedroom where my now ex-husband was sleeping. He liked the TV. I didn't. So I was in another part of the house staying up late like I used to do. He was sleeping to the TV, which he was trained to do, being raised that way. And I would walk in and there's this infomercial about becoming a real estate investor. And I would laugh at it and leave the room. 7 nights in a row is divine communication, okay, is divine guidance, because it was at 11 p.m. or 12 or 1 or 3. It was all different times of the night. I would see a different part of this maybe 1 hour infomercial. I was raised never to buy anything from infomercials, okay? That, in fact, I wasn't even allowed to have toys that were advertised on TV. And so what happened was, Spirit, my inner guidance, had to get through those programs, had to tell me the guidance that it was really important for me to go in this path. I didn't even know it existed. I wasn't somebody who was like, oh, I've always wanted to fix up houses. I didn't know anything about it, right? And so what happened is that all of these things became huge direction changes in my life. I had sold my business, which was animal healing and healing with people with vibrational healing and homeopathy. I'm a homeopathic doctor, and hypnosis. And I sold my business, my pet sitting business, and I adopted my twins after my daughter died. And so first I had my business, my fashion design business, have to close in the late 80s because the entire economy crashed and nobody paid me. Didn't know that happened. That was the first deconstruction of my life. So first I want to tell you that Spirit is talking to you. Your soul is speaking to you. You are encoded with memories, with wisdom, with schools that you've been to in other times, in other lives, in other places, in other planets. And you have wisdom from mystery schools, wisdom schools, from medicine traditions, from indigenous. Maybe you are a wise person or a medicine person. This is all there available for you. Every life you've ever lived already exists. And what's happening now is the veil is thinner and thinner, and you may be communicating more and more or feeling that call. I'm doing these calls now, these private sessions called soul lineage calls sessions, and we are talking to the soul lineage that is most vital right now for your awakening. And I got an incredible email yesterday from a lady I did a session for a few weeks ago. It was a blow your mind session. I have to tell you that my intuition over the 38 years that I've been seeking this and learning this and following the intuitive guidance as best as I could in each moment, learning from different mentors, taking different classes. I've learned almost every form of energy healing, radionics and vibrational healing. I've been to 3 different Egyptian mystery schools. I've spent 16 years actively in the Reformed Congregation of the Goddess, very Celtic oriented, but also with shamans, and become a Lakota Sioux shaman, and not become a shaman, but studied that. And I travel, I can see. I had no idea what this stuff was. I didn't even believe in reincarnation. I had no clue, and I wasn't raised with this. So you might have remembered as a child and it went away because you were told to stop doing that. Maybe it came back when you were a teenager or when you were going through puberty. That's very common for people. Maybe you shut it down based on fear, based on people getting upset with you, based on not being able to focus on your world, or having no one around you who understood what you were going through. I've been there and done that. Now we have community like here. So please join my community. Please come to nanakasha.com. Please subscribe to YouTube here below and get notifications. And tomorrow we will have a few of my students coming on, doing some readings and sharing their stories, as well as we're going to work with dragons, and we're going to explore more forms of intuitive and divination. All right. So what happens when you wake up? What happens when you start to realize that perhaps you're seeing the same thing? Just yesterday in my mastermind, one lady said, "Oh, you're the 3rd person this week to mention that." That is guidance, right? Most of us kind of know that, like, okay, I heard that 3 times. Maybe I need to go look up that book. Maybe a book falls off a shelf. This happened to me after my daughter died. I didn't want to live. I really didn't want to live. And I was standing one day in an office waiting to talk to a lady who I was going to for a thought to test me for food allergies and help me lose weight. And it turns out that she did all these different beautiful forms of healing, EMDR and homeopathy and things. And so, but I was literally standing there next to this bookshelf going, if I walked out that door and across the bridge, I could just jump off the bridge into the oncoming traffic, and then I would be done. I wouldn't have to get up every day and feel this pain anymore. And a book fell off the shelf and I picked it up. So I want you to realize that doesn't have an official name, okay, is a form of mancy, okay, geomancy, that means intuition by earth, okay, hydromancy, intuition by water, pyromancy, intuition, guidance by fire. And there's words that go on and on, by birds and by entrails. The ancient Greeks and Mayans and a lot of cultures would cut open animals or read tea leaves or grounds of coffee or other things they would look at and see, what did it look like? I teach something where we get a stone, just a regular stone, and we start to look into it and we pair up and you start to say what you see. And the more that you tune in and it speaks to you, the more it becomes something. Maybe you look at the clouds as a kid and you were like, oh, that looks like a dragon. Oh, that looks like a unicorn. These are forms of intuitive guidance, even though they might seem fun and you're not really looking for guidance. And it's everywhere, and it's ancient, and it's been there since time began. So what we're doing is waking up again to the fact that we've been repressed from using this and trusting ourselves. And we're told that we have to please everyone else and just listen to them as the authority. This is the age of Aquarius. That means your true spiritual nature is awakening, and your individuality, your uniqueness is awakening. And so in the Intuition Awakening School, what we're doing is this summer, we're going to work with dragons. We're going to go deep and free you from those those vows and those soul contracts and those deep mindsets and beliefs and fears that you may not even know you carry, that all through different lives where you were beheaded or burned at the stake or outcast or some other form of humiliation, when you use divination or healing, when you naturally, I picked up an aloe vera plant and helped my dad when he got bit by a spider, and we just watched as the spider bite went down. And he looked up at me, and I've never heard these words come out of him, so I know this was coming from an old soul part of him. What are you, a witch? And later I remembered and had an experience with a life where I was with him. He was our father. My sister and mother in this life were my sisters. We were called Hope, Faith, and Charity. He was a preacher, priest type of person. And his preaching against this kind of thing got me killed, okay? Because I was a little fairy girl that would go in the forest and pick herbs and things and give them to people and help people heal. And of course, there was nothing evil about it. And so there was a fear within him of it, but he didn't talk that way in normal life, right? So when you begin to open up, or you are going to the next level. So either way, come to the intuition school, because all of my students say it was the hugest quantum leap they've ever experienced. People started their businesses, like the lady coming tomorrow. People said their life is completely changed. They love themselves more. They love their body. They've lost weight. They've made more money. And this beautiful lady who had a soul lineage session a week or two ago, I think, she sent me an email and said, okay, I think it's time for another session, because I did exactly what you said. I repeated the session 7 times. We get guidance, okay, during that. So all of my skills, all of my learning have blended together within me for my own unique way of doing things. And I've learned to create sacred space. So one of the things that I do, and people comment on all the time, is like, wow, when I'm with you in this class, in this space, I am so clear. I receive guidance so quickly, so easily. That's because I've learned how to create space. I've learned how to talk to energies. I've learned how to protect you from your own fears and your own blocks, as well as from any energies that aren't optimal for you. So I want you to know that you've entered into the Infinity Healing Chamber with me, and we are in a sacred, safe space between the worlds. We have a cone of light, or a temple of light, of silver and gold above and below us. We're wrapped in the all-seeing eye, which gives us access to any time, anywhere, any information, any guides, any spirit guides, whether they're crystals, gods, goddesses, animals, dragons, whatever it is, we have it here. So you might just be here today going, wow, I suddenly feel, like expanded or lighter or kind of high, or I'm getting visions, or I'm remembering things. Get a piece of paper and write it down. So if I do a reading for you, or we discuss something and it starts to ping, ping, ping in you, there's something there. So maybe the I Ching is calling you and you want to go look at it. It's one of the oldest forms of divination or oracle cards. It's called the Book of Changes. And all of the ancient rulers used it. The Oracle of Delphi became the most famous, most wealthy town in the world at one point, when people from leaders and military leaders and leaders of governments to absolutely ordinary people would travel all the way to Delphi, bringing money, bringing gifts, bringing statues, dedications. They still have some of these. It's quite amazing to read, to listen to the oracle, who was only a woman who was trained in the sanctuary of Athena on the same site. So that is one of my other lives. So perhaps you've remembered these lives, perhaps you're ready to. However, it's very interesting because this lady had this incredible, we had this incredible session, and I brought through, and we traveled to this life that she had. And it unfolds in such an amazing way that you're there and you're experiencing it. I'm not just telling you. And at the end of it, she said, wow, it was the biggest challenge I had during that was believing that I am that amazing. And you are. And she sent me an email yesterday and said, I think it's time for another session, because I did what you said. I listened to it. I integrated it. And then at one point, I was doing the session, and a spiral of light came up out of me and went over to the place I work underneath the building and embedded in the ground under the building I work at. And less than a week later, I received a raise and a bonus or something like that. right? So this is what happens. And these subtle realms don't follow Newtonian physics like quantum physics doesn't. There's other ways. Things don't have to take a lot of time to happen. It doesn't have to go the way that you know. If you only know getting a paycheck, there's a bazillion other ways for money to come to you for whatever you want, for the school, for the retreat, for buying a house, whatever it is. Believe me, I have helped people and myself over the decades to find money, to find jobs, to find lovers, to find all kinds of things. Okay. And those opportunities are already there. They're in the field. They're waiting for you. You were encoded with this. It's in your DNA and your spiritual DNA. It's in your womb and many other parts of you. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Okay. So what we're going to do today is play. And it was kind of a big leap for me to say, let's have a psychic fair, because I kind of avoided the word psychic for obvious reasons. Oh, we don't want to say we're psychic. We'll just say intuitive. And I don't have anything against intuitive either. However, what we want to do is really remember that we have the abilities already built in. We have the guidance. Your higher self, your body is speaking to you, right? You have a pain in your shoulder. What does it mean? Do you get out the Louise Hay book and say, oh, what does shoulder mean? Okay. So there's been this form of divination, divine communication, seeking your own truth, all through the ages. And whether you see it that way or not, someone mentioned to me the other day that meteorology, right, when you listen to the weather report, that's a form of divination, because we're predicting the future. Right? There's a prophecy to it. And the other thing I want to remind you of is that if you have people in your life that are like, oh, be practical, don't listen to that silly stuff, go, work hard for the next 20 years and then save a penny, and then maybe you can do what you want. Do it now. Listen now to your heart. There's a way. If your heart calls you, I promise you, there is a way. Okay. And governments, military, high-level executives, very big corporations, Wall Street traders, even athletes study and pay a lot of money to study and to access their intuition. They don't tell us that. They don't want people to know. Why? Because one, they're afraid of being ridiculed. They're afraid of being seen as silly and stupid and not responsible, and they won't make money, and they won't, be looked at as this important person up on a pedestal. But they do it because it gives them that edge, because it changes their life. If you're in sports, it's going to make you better than everybody else. If you want to win the lottery, you have to be as clear as possible. You have to be the one that sees it, holds that space, understands that your intuitive guidance must be as clear as possible, and you have to clear out the things that make you think, no, I can't do this. Okay. Hi, Lucille. You're not late, honey. We had some techie issues, so we've only been going for about 10 minutes, I think, 20 minutes maybe. So your son had an imaginary friend. I used to have to speak to him and his imaginary mother on the phone. I love that. That is so wonderful. Good for you. Well, of course, I raised my girls as little witches, as little goddesses, as little divine intuitive. I let them play with oracle cards. I still, to this day, they're 27. I let them pick an oracle card deck every year for Christmas or something, and then I buy it for them. We used to go to the to Fog, Festival of the Goddess, every year. They would ask all year, when are we going? When are we going? We would go for about 5 days to this ranch in the middle of nowhere and run around with a bunch of goddess women and play dress up and do have shamanic lessons and yoga at dawn, and everybody gave everything free, crystal lessons, and we swam, and they had a stone circle, and they had a big statue of Sekhmet from Egypt, and the woman who owned it donated it, so we all paid a very small amount to be able to come together like that. And I loved raising my kids that way. I also had my own school for a while, and we would do meditation and then art, so they could draw whatever they saw. If they saw their angels, we built fairy houses. We would go out and talk to the fairies and leave little plates for spirit. So there's a lot of ways to weave this into your life to make your life very magical. And I would not be where I am today, meaning living on the beach, which has been my dream forever, living with my soulmate, doing this business, if I hadn't sought out, let's put it that way, my desire to hear spirit, to understand subtle realms, to understand when everything fell apart and I lost all my money and I had nothing and I had worked my ass off and I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I worked really hard. I had to go look for something new. When you have your job or your relationship or your belief system or someone die like I did, whatever it is, when something deconstructs in your life, it is a freedom. You're being liberated. And it's important to realize that, because literally, including the full moons, of course, this astrology and astrocartography, which I learned about at some point, and that's where you talk to an expert that puts your astrology natal chart over a map and then tells you where are the places that are good for business, where are the places good to find love, where are the places that are best for you to live. And geomancy, which is intuition by earth, right, is a form of finding the right place. If we built hospitals or schools on the right energy currents, it would enhance everybody's ability to learn. Children who are distracted, you wouldn't have to give them a bunch of drugs and all this nonsense. They would naturally be cleansed, cleared, and heightened for learning. When you come on my retreat in Avalon, I've hired an expert master dowser, druid, Celtic woman who understands all this, and she's going to take us to these spots where the yin waters are, where the geospirals are, where the ley lines and the dragon lines are, and not just the tourist stuff where everybody knows how to find it, how to use it. We're going to do chakra activation through the earth energies inside of the ancient abbey. We're going to be going into the sacred waters. We're going to be working with a Celtic white witch there to make our wand from the sacred energies. And why? Because when I go to the sacred places, whether it's the pyramids here in Maya land where I live or in Egypt, there's sacred energy there. And all the people who lived there at some point, we free the pain energy and we access the sacred wisdom. And you already have that. That's why soul lineage work is becoming more and more important. And I've seen this for years now, where many decades, where we go to other lives to discover why we won't speak up, why we have a fear of money, why we can't make money, why we can't accept love. And it's always because one or more lives, we had someone abandon us, betray us, kill us, behead us, whatever. And we made a vow, we made an agreement to ourselves. I will never, ever, ever have money again because someone will kill me, or I will never, ever, ever trust anyone, or I will never speak up again. And then you come into this life and now you want to speak up and you want to access your powers and you want to talk to your higher self. And so the lady that came, that emailed me about getting a raise and all that, she didn't actually come to say, I want more money. She came to say, I really want to enhance my skills and to talk to my higher self and all that. Oh yeah, she also has her own healing business. And she said her business increased. More people started coming to her after that session as well. So there's so much guidance that is always here for you. Now, there's another aspect of it too, interpreting that guidance. And that can be where it really gets muddy, which is why when you come to the Intuition Awakening School, I help you interpret what you experience. You get to practice what you experience. I create the container. I give you activations. You can start right away with the bonus of meeting your spirit guide council. This was something I learned in my very first mystery school that was beyond powerful. I had never believed that I could, call in all these people. So the people were White Buffalo Calf Woman, Isis, and Thoth, my beautiful Thoth, and a lot of other energies that included Lord Sananda, who turned out to be Jesus. And I never would have been like, yeah, let me talk to Jesus. Now I'm okay with it. But at the time, I was still in my fear of the church, which obviously came from other lives. I don't want to go there because they're going to do something to me. And torture, memory of a lot of torture from other lives is very prevalent for me. So whatever it is you've experienced, it's time to release it. It's time to find a community that supports you, especially if your spiritual awakening is not being honored or supported where you live or with the people you live. And it isn't time to go tell other people what to do. Everybody awakens in their own time. And you found me and I found you. So let's play. Okay, well, Joy, Joy says she would love the money for Glastonbury. So if you are interested in that, let me put that up again. There is a Here we go. So if you go to this website, nanakasha.com/Avalon, you can see some of the details. And I'm just finishing up the really detailed schedule because I'm getting all the juicy details from the Goddess Temple, where we're going to do healing with the Avalon priestesses, a sound healing, and from all these different things that we're going to do, and putting them into a detailed schedule. So I'll be having that today, actually. However, there's also just down the page a little bit is a little opt-in where you put in your email, and I will send you information on a meditation on manifestation. I will send you how to get in touch with me directly. And also somewhere on that page, I believe, is a link to set up a 30-minute session with me for free, that if you are interested, sincerely, we'll get together, we'll talk. I can tell you whether I see that it is optimal for you, because I carefully curate the group. And I'm sure if you're here, then it is optimal for you. However, I like to look at it because I not only create the container and I find all the sacred people and the places, and then I co-create or create the experiences we're going to have, and then the flow of it, because you come into this as a cocoon, and it is a metamorphosis that you will leave and you'll never be the same. And this is a very positive thing. You will heal body, you will heal money, you will heal fears, you will access higher levels of consciousness, you will reconnect to guides. And so what happens is that we can then look at, where are you? And if you really feel called, then there is a way, and I can help you find that way. So there's many people right now. One lady has just manifested an incredible miracle in her life because she was called to this and began to open her mind to, well, how could I do it? What are the different pathways? And that's the question we have to ask, right? Is where, what, when, how. Okay, let's play. Thank you, thank you. You're so welcome. Okay, so we're going to play, and I want to start by doing I have more information about what is divination and what are forms of divination. Okay, I will share that. Now, I'm not going to share the whole thing, but I am going to share quickly what are some of the forms of divination. And I want you to remember that we're doing this again tomorrow. And hopefully I'm going to have a few more of my students come. And so this is the retreat, the session. Okay, so divination is direct divine communication. Okay, it is your natural state. And so I want you to really tune into that. Now, I'm going to send out this information in the replay email today. So make sure you're on nanakasha.com, and you will get that email, and you'll get the reminder for tomorrow. So when I went a while back to look up, well, what is the definition of divination? And it's interesting how it's written depending where you look at it. It's sometimes written like, well, it's the supposed imaginary, they use all these words to demean it. Occult, which just means the same thing, like, what's hidden, it's just hidden. Yet that occultism got this devil kind of worship thing. We are not doing dark magic. We are not doing anything with the devil. The devil is the church's invention. It is not the goddess invention. It is not divine feminine. It has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. I can assure you beyond belief that there is nothing evil about what you're doing except for what you do with the information and the power. So we are coming back to the state of unity because our heart and our mind have to be connected. We have to go through that. So all these different definitions of divination, tarot, and okay, they list a few things, and then they're like, supposed people, like fortune tellers and palm readers. And those are actual sciences. I knew a science-based palm reader, and I got it for me, for Chris, for my children. It was utterly fascinating, but it wasn't like a fortune teller. So of course now there's a million people out there saying, oh, I'm a channel, I'm a healer, I'm a person from another planet, and I know this, and I have this wisdom, and I'm world renowned. And they took a class 3 years ago. So you want to know your inner truth so that you can find the people that really are the right teacher for you, and you don't come away feeling like, well, that didn't really do anything. And this is why I want my students to come and share with you. I have no interest in forcing anybody to do work with me. It never works out. I don't want to do it. However, I can tell you that over and over and over and over, people come to sessions and classes and retreats with me, and they say, my gosh, I've studied with so many people. I've taken all these other classes and very little happened, or just a little bit happened. And then I come with you in one day or one class or one session, and I'm like completely different, or I'm seeing colors, or I'm remembering things. I had a woman a couple years ago contact me after this class, a couple classes, and tell me that her husband's dead grandmother appeared to her a couple days after she took the class, and she had never met her in person. She actually didn't even know what she looked like, and she appeared full body, real, in her bedroom while her husband was sleeping. And she just looked at her and said, what's up? And she's all like, could you give him a message from me? And she was so afraid to tell her husband that she waited and finally said, did your grandmother look like this? Did she carry this kind of purse? Did she wear this kind of dress? Did she have this kind of perfume? And her husband finally went, yeah, what is going on? You never met her. And she said, well, I don't know what you think of this, but she came to me in the bedroom and gave you this message. And after that, what happened for her was she started talking to dead people. Now, I'm not saying that like creepy dead people, but because somebody's not in a body, like an angel or an ascended master or your dog, who is maybe, I studied with one lady who her dog who had died was her psychometry guide, and she was channeling amazing information through him and working in tandem with him. So just because someone is not in a body does not make them evil. And that just happened to be her natural talent that started to wake up. So you are seeking your truth. That is what divination really means. You do not need a middleman. You do not need someone else between you. And if you want my help, helping you determine or interpret your guidance, then this is a beautiful class for you. And my students come back again. It's not like a one-time thing, not that you need to. However, each time we do, this is a different moment in time. Things have accelerated so much that if you come to this class, you're going to have a new quantum leap from wherever you are to the next level. And it is freedom. I want you to have freedom, okay? You're ready to awaken your truth. It's encoded within you, and all the clairvoyance and clairs and light languages and whatever it is that's natural for you will first start to come forward, and then you're going to open to other senses. We have 360 senses. We have not been told this. We have not, I mean, just the sixth sense is sort of like, ooh, oh my gosh, the sixth sense. I mean, come on. It's instinct. Everybody has an instinct, natural instinct. So because of that fear, this has been really repressed. So what I want you to see is that divination is seeking your truth. It is divine communication. It is you opening to natural channels, and it is living each day as a ritual to the divine. I absolutely love that. I don't remember where I got that. So quickly, I want to just say divine. These are some of the things, just a very short list of some of the things that are included in this. Oracle cards, tarot cards, runes, pendulum, angel numbers, numerology, trees, earth energies, dowsing, astrology, astrocartography, meanings of parts of the body, right? Like we talked about, like Louise Hay, like I have pain in my ankles. It means I'm carrying guilt. My knees are having a problem. That means I'm not flexible. I'm not able to move and pivot and go in a new direction. My back hurts, or my lower back hurts. I don't feel supported. I don't feel like money is here to support me, or other people are here to support me. There's so much wisdom here speaking, not English, Spanish, or whatever language, okay? Animal and nature guides, big one for most people, scrying, crystals, stars, spirit guides, visions, feng shui, dragons, earth grids, ley lines, books, like I mentioned, just books falling off the shelf, memories that pop up to you, psychometry, the I Ching, and many more. And we talked about that. Now, I think I forgot to finish the story about the book that fell off the shelf, so I'll finish that for you. When my daughter had died and I didn't want to live, and I was standing there thinking about throwing myself off a bridge, a book fell off the shelf. And I can tell you this happens to a lot of people. In fact, that was one of my first really forms of spirit communication, when I was like, well, what is this weird stuff? And I was walking through the Bodhi Tree, which was a spiritual bookstore in LA a long time ago, because none of these books were in normal bookstores at that time. No internet, none of that stuff, right? And so I had this happen a lot. Like I would walk through a bookstore and a book would pop out, or I would notice it, or fall out. And so this is a wonderful way of communication. You pick up a book, you open it to, you get centered the same way you would pick an oracle card, and you open the book to a page. So the same way that you would say, oh, here's oracle cards, you clear and cleanse yourself, you ask your question, or you ask for what is optimal for you at this time. And then what happens is that guidance, that energy starts to connect your higher self, your inner wisdom, all of the guides and angels and the things that you're encoded with, that you came here with, to naturally have this guidance for you, come together, and they will pick the card. They will naturally guide you to just the right card. In my mastermind yesterday, I picked a card for almost everybody in the morning, in the beginning of the class. And it was mind-boggling. I had done a session earlier with one of the people in a private session and one of the people in the class. And the card that we picked was absolutely the exact same as the information that had come through. So that confirmation comes through. So I wanted to kill myself because my daughter had died and this book fell off, and I picked it up and I opened it and it was a book of quotes. And it said some famous quote, something like, you're never alone, and you're never given anything you can't handle. And I just thought, oh, how cliche and stupid, up yours, and put the book back on the shelf. However, it was a seed, and it went in my head, and it kept niggling me, and it kept going, And I finally started to say to myself, I can handle this. I'm never given anything I can't handle. I don't think I can handle this. It took me 8 years to get pregnant. I was the happiest pregnant woman in the planet. I went swimming with wild dolphins and didn't know I was pregnant, and they were around me all the time. I mean, this was a dream, and all my dreams died when she died. And of course, I went further, and I found out that, of course, I was a part of agreeing to that part of her journey. And my ex-husband, her father at the time, we all had an agreement for that. I could see why his purpose came into his body. He went into hospice. She had another quantum leap with it. It affected a lot of people in a very small amount of time in her body. But that little message came through. Then I found Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, and it became my lifeline. So again, a book can change your life, whether you write it or read it or it pops off the shelf for you, right? Okay, so now where are you guys? Here you are. Hi, Stacy. Man, when trying to link you on YouTube, we are not getting the live stream, getting it on Facebook though. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Hi, Stacy J. Thank you for all the great content. Oh, you're so welcome, sweetie. So yeah, I know that you have done the intuition class. So if you would share anything about it for people. Hi, Carmen. You would like the information too. Okay, wonderful. So make sure that you lovely people go to this website, or you can email me, nan@nanakasha.com, or any of the websites where it says my assistant's email. You can contact there. On this page, if you get on that list, or on that page is a link to book a session with me. And we need to do it pretty quickly because I am going to go in for ear surgery late next week. So, however, I just give me a second to see why we're not showing up on YouTube. I don't know if I can actively fix that. However, let me see here, public. It says it's on, so I don't know why. Oh, it's sad, unfortunately. So this is a problem with me doing the scheduling versus my assistant. Okay, well, I will make sure that tomorrow everyone is a wow. What a class. Highly recommended. Thank you so much. Oh, good. You are. All right. Well, sometimes these things work. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes we go in and out of the ethers. So, okay, let's see what we're doing first. We've talked a little bit about different forms of intuition and why you want to do it, because really more than anything, I want you to become your own authority. I want you to disconnect from the good opinion of others, even if they're your loved ones. And I want you to start to remember who you are, because when you start to do this, when you start to remember who you are, when you start to trust your inner voice, you're going to access the stuff that comes through in sessions and classes. Just still blows my mind. And I've seen, wow, okay, I've seen incredible lives and seen agreements and patterns and things that people are designed to do that I've just blows me away. Another soul lineage session the last week, I think, what 3 different lives came through, and they were holding these women were like almost like 3 divine women guides were over her, and there was this whole thing where they were holding energies for her that she had set aside in order to survive in a particular life. So it really is quite amazing. So okay, the email was not connecting right. So sorry. Well, we're going to move on. Okay, I have another list here. I want to just write down, share a few more forms of divination with you. Black cat or cats, and that's an animal ones. Candles, clouds, coins, crystal balls, dice, dictionary, dowsing rods. I think we talked about feathers, fire. We talked a little bit about flowers. Yeah, there's a whole science of flowers. Divination by flowers, footprints, fortune cookies. Ah, that's so funny. Geomancy, handwriting, hydromancy. We mentioned that. Arrow, aura, or augurs. Lots, ogum. Yeah, that's the Celtic tree divination deck kind of thing. Ouija boards, palmistry, pendulum, psychometry, runes. We did a lot of those. Shooting stars. Yeah, we did that. Tarot, thunder and lightning, wheel of fortune, and wishbone. Okay, so what should we do first? We're going to do that one first. Okay, good. So who would like an oracle card? And what I want you to do is you can just put your name, or you can actually give a question. And because I'm not able to talk to you directly, but I have my oracle card deck here, and I have most of them available here. And so we'll take a look at, that's interesting. Why is that happening? So you got to just love all of these techie things here. So we're going to look at how do oracle cards or tarot decks work. Now, one of the clearest, the most important things when it comes to intuition and divination is that you clear and cleanse yourself. And so I teach you all of this in the class, how to create sacred space. You can put it around you, put it around your work, put it around your loved ones, whatever you want, how to cleanse and clear your body, how to become a clear and open channel to the highest good and for all and for what is optimal for you at this time. And so the message always comes through. The other thing that is important is that you say a clear question. Okay, a clear question. And that clear question is not, is this good? Would this be okay? Should I do this or that or the other thing? That is not clear. It needs to be simple. It needs to be direct. And so I learned a long time ago, and I still use most often, what is the optimal guidance for me at this time? What is the optimal guidance for me at this time? And that is, now, if you really want guidance around your job or job offers, or if you want guidance over, I want to move, so where might I go? And, or is it the optimal time to move? You can definitely ask a particular category, okay, of question. You can be like, okay, or money, or like, I want to come to the retreat. I'm ready to come to the retreat. I've done my inner questioning. My heart said, yes, this is definitely the optimal step for you. Now I need the money, or to understand what is the pathway. And so the common things that get in people's way is time, perceived time. Can I take time away from my family, my children, my dog, my job? Can I travel? Fear of travel. Fear of, I just talked to a lady yesterday who's definitely meant to come. And she said, I know I want to be there. I want to make a wand. I want to learn dowsing. I want to do all of that, but I just am so afraid of the travel. And so that's something that I work with you on as well, is when you decide to come to one of these things, we can work on the travel. Okay. We can work on the ability to access these pathways that are best for you. And there's a way to travel with the utmost ease and grace for your highest good. And of course, money for other things. However, I want to caution you to not put money in front of every single thing you want. That's something we've been learned, which then puts you back into a limited space. What you want to do is Oh, I'll share this. It's a really good, simple little story. When I was going through my divorce, I lost everything. Everything was blocked. I had no way of getting income. I was in real estate investing, and it's a long story, but my ex blocked my ability to receive any of the money of the houses that I was getting, or my rents, or anything like that. And so I was very, very, very challenged, and I barely had enough money to feed my children, and I really wanted to go to the beach. And I lived about 2-3 hour drive from the beach. And the beach is my healing. It's why I live there now. My beach is my medicine. The beach is where I feel free. I feel I can breathe. I connect. I expand. My heart opens. Everything for me. So you may have a power place that you go to, that you live, that you love as well. And I kept asking for guidance and for the money to go to the beach. I need the money so I can go to the beach. I need the money so I can go on this trip. I need the money so I can do this thing for me. And what happens is, when you say, I need the money, is if you ask need, one, what is optimal? But you write down at the top of the page, I want X amount of money. I'm looking for X amount of money. I'm open and receptive is the best way to ask for X amount of money. However, you want the thing or the experience or the feeling or the healing. You don't really want the money. All right. So money's great, and it's wonderful to have money. And I've made millions of dollars in my past, and I've had a lot of money and not had money and everything around it. And of course, it's much easier to live. But what happened to me was, when I had my own money, I didn't experience certain things that I was forced into when I didn't have the money, like learn this lesson. So one day I was doing my meditation. I was visualizing myself at the beach, as you know you're meant to do. Okay, I see myself at the beach. I see myself in Avalon, whatever you want. And clear guidance came through and said, stop asking for the money. Just ask to go to the beach. So use this for whatever you're looking for. Go, okay, I'm ready for the optimal job. I'm ready for the optimal soulmate. I'm ready for the confidence. I'm ready for this thing to be healed in my body. I'm ready to have the energy. I'm ready for this. And then don't let the money be the thing that decides for you. Oh, I want to do that, but I don't have the money and I shouldn't spend it. Nobody will like me spending it, and I can't put it on credit. And last time I didn't do it, and this whole story then gets in your way. And then you decide that's your reality. And then you shut down all of the avenues that are ready to go, ooh, I know how, come over here, do this. And you won't believe the stuff that happens when people actually follow through on saying, this is what I really feel like I want. So what happened was really kind of a miracle. I did a lot of speaking and teaching and coaching in real estate investing because I was exceptionally good, and I had gone to a lot of courses, and I was very successful in my business. And I never charged. I charged clients, students, but I never charged to speak ever before. And it really wasn't in my head. So I got a phone call. This is way pre cell phones. Okay. I got a phone call from the Real Estate Investing Association in Corpus Christi at the beach. And I was living in Austin. And they said, we would really love for you to come and speak to our group. And normally I would have went, okay, great. And I would have paid to go there. But I knew the minute they said that, I didn't even have the money for gas, much less food, much less time was okay. But I would really want to or need to stay overnight because it was late at night. It was in the evening, the talk. And I thought, oh my gosh, someone's inviting me to come to the beach, but I can't afford it. And so I had to go out of my comfort zone and say something I had never said. And I was totally terrified at the moment. And I said, I would love to do that. If you could pay for my gas, food, and hotel, I am there. And they said, absolutely no problem. Well, not only did I take Chris, and we went very early and spent the whole day at the beach, and then I spoke, and we stayed at the nice hotel that the event was at, and then we spent the whole next day, and then we went home. But they invited me back to come the next month. So I got 2 trips to the beach that somebody else paid for that also furthered my business, and I didn't have to manifest the money first. Okay. So remember, are you making money God? All right. The freedom to be able to do things. Exactly. But those things can happen without that. Okay. And I've seen miracle after miracle happen for people that, yes, of course we need money to pay the rent and things like that. However, there are ways for you to have, do, be, meet, find, travel, go, that you never expected. I didn't have the money to travel during my divorce, and I really wanted to go to some live events that would further my business. And I had met a lady, and she called me up and said, "Hey, if you come to Vegas, you can stay with me." They gave me a suite. She was the MC for the event, and then you could meet everybody, and I'll introduce you to everybody. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I only had enough money to get there. And I decided, okay, I'll buy a one-way ticket. I'll go there. I have a free room, and I'll have to figure out how to get home. And I got several clients while I was there. I again went out of my comfort zone and, said, oh, okay, here, let's get a deposit paid. And I was able to come home. If I had sat at home and waited for the money to show up, I don't know how long it would have taken me. It's 11:11. There's an angel number. Haha. Okay, good. Well, that's a message for all of us. So let's take a look at angel numbers really quick. What are angel numbers? Numerology is a form of divination. And you probably know, like if you add up your birthday, you get a number. If you add up the year, you get a number. And then that number has a particular vibration or a particular meaning. Maybe 9 might mean completion. And there's different people that have taught this. And so there's different traditions around it. Let me stop that for you. However, what happens when we see 11:11, or I have 24-hour clock on my computer. So I see things like 15:15 or 13:13 or 10:01, like you might see. So these messages come through, and you kind of feel like, oh, right in that moment, I was thinking about going to the retreat in Avalon, and then I saw this number. I know that it meant a good thing. So maybe you see an angel number as something positive, and maybe you see, there's, I don't know how many, limitless really, but thousands of angel numbers that you could count. 11:11 is a very, very common one. And so you have to look at like number sequences or just a number, what it means. So when you look at an oracle card, it often has a number, and the number has as much meaning, it has additional meaning for you to the words or the meaning or the image of the card, right? So what happens when you do that is that these messages from the spirit realm are communication, of course. And what are they guidance for? Maybe your guardian angels, because we call them angel numbers. They aren't necessarily only from angels. However, it is a way that angels like to get our attention now because we are used to it, right? So you might see a license plate, or you might see a clock, or you might see the, somebody might, what happens a lot in my world is that we have WhatsApp groups for my classes, and somebody will send a message, or somebody will send me a message on text, and then they'll go, oh my gosh, it was 444 when I sent you that message. And we often just use it as confirmation, right, that this is happening. However, they each have a unique vibration, and vibration is what we're talking about. We're talking about the energy underneath it. Does it have a unique message for you? That's the most important thing, right? Does it resonate with you? Does it remind you of something? Does it make you think that, oh my gosh, that's confirmation. Right at that moment, I was thinking about this person or doing this thing, or again, that idea of seeing something repeatedly, right? Many, many times, like me seeing that seminar, which led me to go into real estate investing, which completely transformed my life in so many ways. I don't even know what to say. It was very, very powerful. So the encouragement or the confirmation that this often has is one aspect of an angel number. However, the number itself also carries a frequency. So for me, the number 13 is very special. My birthday is the 13th. I grew up in the US until I was 9. Then I moved to Europe. I moved to Belgium. Well, in the US, 13 is considered a bad number. Why? Well, because the church conspired to kill all the Templars, who were actually became wealthier and more powerful than them, but they were actually the ones that saw the natural divine spark in every person, and they were hunting the world for the true symbols, the true forms of divination, the true wisdom that had come and been saved from Atlantis for us to have our new rebirth now, our new world. And so they plotted, of course, the Templars knew they were going to do this, so they sacrificed a few people, but they still exist now. So, but it was Friday the 13th. So that's why we have Friday the 13th. And there's even hotels that don't have a floor number named 13. Yet, if you're on 14, you're really on 13. So it's kind of interesting. So this is something to encourage your growth, your confidence, your guidance, to give you some form of response to what you're thinking or feeling. And so recognizing these, understanding numerology in general is a very fun thing. And what happens is that when we have, I would say, something's weird with my screen right now. Interesting. I don't know why. So what happens is that when we just saw 1111, okay, and what we do is when we see 1111, we're a group. So what were we talking about at that moment? Were we talking about angel numbers? No, that actually reminded me to talk about angel numbers. Okay, so we were getting ready to do some oracle cards, and we were talking about numerology and the number on it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that it's an affirmation to us that angel numbers are important. That it's a common spiritual number for guardians, right? 1111. What is one? One is one, meaning we are one. One is one. If you have a 10, it's you and everything. If you have 1001, it's you, everything, and another. If you have 1 and 1 next to each other, it could be two pillars of light. It could be a doorway. It could be a portal. It could be look for the portal. Okay. If you add 1 and 1 together, you get 2. What do we have now? We have duality, or we have partnership, or we have a different unity, right? So there's different ways to interpret that. Now, there's 1111 can mean you and others, you and community. Here's you and your spirit guides and this community and so on. It could mean love. Sometimes it's very popular to mean love, money, twin flame. These are different things that what happens when you see it. What does it mean for you is the first thing. It's a manifestation number, and it's what's called a master number. When something is called a master number, it means that it is opening you to the master within. All right. So what's happened to you guys? Share, text, put on the chat here for me that the number 1111, when it happened, or as we started talking to you, or what else it has meant to you before. Because I believe that one thing is we can look to the past, we can look to the so-called experts that say 1111 means this. Okay. It means good luck. It means go on a spiritual journey. It means, that love is coming into your life. It might mean love yourself, you and your past you and your future you and your potential you. Okay. So there's a lot of things. It's a manifestation number. What does that mean? It means things might be manifesting, or it's time for you to believe they're manifesting, or it's time for you to pay attention to what's manifesting or recognize what's manifested. So what does it mean when you add up 1111? You get a 4. Well, then that's a whole different number, right? So there's a lot of ways to take these numbers, but if you see 1111 3 times that day. Now I do something where if I tap my screen, okay, there's the clock. And if it says 1111 and I happen to tap my screen and see that, I take a screenshot. So I have a whole bunch of pictures on my phone that I save. And sometimes I go put them in a folder, but in general, I just save them because to me, I'm acknowledging. It's a way for me to acknowledge the information that came in. And then, of course, I go in and I say, what does that mean? And what is happening? So it's a communication. And that's the first thing you want to remember is it's a communication. Okay. So let's take a look and see what you guys are. Where are you? Here you are. 1111 so many times this past week. Yeah, and that happens is when it repeats. So Joy, what does it mean to you? What is it meant for you? You're the 13th. Lucille, I knew you were my goddess friend. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's such a magic number. So I was told my whole life, like, ooh, 13, ooh, you're evil. I wasn't born on the Friday the 13th or anything. But it felt, when you're a kid, it feels a little bit like, another reason why I'm not good enough. Then I moved to a country where whose belief that everybody had from birth was that 13 was a lucky number. And I immediately went, yeah, that's my reality. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I get to choose my reality and what is part of my planet, what is part of my atmosphere. And 13 is the lucky, lucky number. So when I see 13, it has a lot of deeper meaning for you. Hi. Thank you so much, Sylvia. We've had some techie problems today. I'm glad you found us. 1111 reminds me to align with my highest good, MK says. Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. I like that. So one is a pillar, right? And it's like me and my higher self and my I am presence and my body and Gaia in that singular pillar of light. So maybe you see it at a moment when you're like, oh, okay, am I paying attention? Am I getting lost in a drama? And I'm thinking of repeated thought that's not optimal. Do I need to get back into alignment? Do I need to align to my highest good? Like you said, oh, am I getting off track and listening to fear? Am I getting off track and listening to other people, negative people? That's really good. Who else has something about, it's 1212 in Jamaica. I love it. My name is Trish. Hi, Trish. Good. Well, we will do some readings for you right now. We're talking about angel numbers and the number 1111 that popped up a few minutes ago. MK said, thanks for the reminder about focusing on the thing, not the money. Yes, absolutely. To do the thing. I was burned out. I was burned doing that in the past. So now I have a very hard time getting past the debt I incurred. So here's the thing about debt. You love money. You want money. When money comes to you, go, yay, me. You know, I always, of course, the work that I do with people makes you more in flow with your optimal, which one of those things is your natural abundance. And so like the lady that I worked with a week or so ago, didn't even ask about money, just got a raise and just got more clients in her business. So that's a natural outcropping of you becoming more aligned, you remembering who you are, you connecting to your other lineages and powers. However, we think of debt as bad, and we think of money or income as good, and we think of spending as bad. And so we put those energies into it. And I channeled the voice of debt a long time ago, came through in my Spirit of Money class, kind of surprised me. And debt said, you know, you hate me. You put all these negative energies on me. But when I came to you, you loved it. If you wanted a house or a car, and you really want that house, and you, of course, don't have $400,000 to buy the house, but you have the down payment, and you really want that bank to loan you the money. And when you get that loan, you are celebrating, and you're popping the champagne, and you're visualizing the house, and you're seeing your kids in the house, and you move in, and you decorate it, and then you start making the house payment. And pretty soon it goes from joy to, oh, I've got this debt, and oh, I have to pay this, and oh, this is so terrible. When debt says, I'm no different than the energy of flow and money. The universe believed in you and you believed in yourself. So the money came to you. What happened was you did something, and maybe you interpreted the message wrong and you incurred the debt, or you thought that the debt was going to provide something, but you didn't take that next action. Now, I've worked with people who've had, wow, one lady had $75,000 in debt. And when I first met her, she was working on it herself, and she got it down to about 65,000. And then I started to help her. I started to work with her, look at the energy fields, look at the beliefs she was holding, doing, calling in her guides. And within less than a year, she paid off that $75,000 in debt. Now, it's really important because right now it's very difficult to do things without having your credit cards or without having something to help you bridge a gap, or to understand that money comes from the universe. It comes through different places. Maybe it comes in the form of a loan, but if it came in the form of a loan, or you put it on your credit card and now you're mad at the debt, why don't you look at what you gained from it? And if you don't think you gained anything from it, or you have somebody in your life who's saying, you're in debt and you suck and blah, 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 and why'd you do that? And you don't know how to manage money. And I had that from my ex. Then you need to reject their idea of it and get back into your flow and go, okay, you know what? I'm ready to do this. I had to come out of huge debt and a bankruptcy in my divorce many years ago. And it took a long time, and it was very humiliating, and it was really powerful learning. So everything is an opportunity to go through a door where you leave behind the negative feelings you have about yourself, about the money, because you're not going to receive more money if you hate that money, right? If you see some forms of money given to you are bad and money you worked hard for is good, and there's a whole energetics behind money. So yeah, remember that if you feel called to something and there's a way to do it, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to borrow the money and then come home and never pay it back. The idea is, thank you for this, more of this please, more ways for money or other things. I've had people whose husbands gifted them money for their airplane ticket because they overheard her talking, or other interesting things, people who sponsor you, fundraisers and all kinds of stuff. So you might feel perfectly fine saying, oh my gosh, I need this life-saving surgery, or my baby does, or my mother does. And if and we don't raise the money, they're going to die. And you feel perfectly fine going out and saying, I'm raising money for my mother's surgery or she's going to die. Well, of course you feel okay doing that. But do you feel okay saying, look, I feel called to this retreat, or I feel like I'm meant to go to this school, or I feel like this is my next step and I'm doing a fundraiser for that? Maybe you don't. And there's a judgment there. So let's see what else we've got. Join class, Stacy Jam says, and connect with higher self and energies. I connected with others, past lives, dragons and Merlin energies. I cleared some very dark energy from a past life, and I journeyed beyond the veil. So exciting. So thank you, Stacy Jam. That's all the things that happened for her in the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp. So make sure that you come and join us. Oh, hi, Sonia, Barbara. Oh my gosh, what's the optimal guidance for me? Sharing my work with the world and my pathway. Wonderful. We're going to get back to you. And Lucille, I just love you, Lucille. This should be fun. And Joey said, my question is, when will my finances change for the better? Well, the answer is, when are you going to become aware that they've changed for the better? When are you going to live in that reality? When are you going to believe it? You're the creator. If you keep seeing the lack and the debt and then saying, when is the lack going to end? When is the debt going to end? When is that going to end? Then you're continuously recreating it. True for anything. Really easy with money, right? We should do a whole show just on the money, right? Okay, so remember that the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is right there for you at the shop or at Intuition Awakening page, and there's payment plans, and just reach out to me if you have any other questions. We're starting on August 3rd. You can get started right now with your Sacred Spirit Guide Council workshop. So it's very important to have a Sacred Spirit Guide circle to communicate with your intuitive network, which is your body and your higher self and your I Am Presence and Gaia, because you're made out of Gaia, right? Okay, so we've kind of talked about the angel number. Let me just see what else the 1111 wants to share. Oh, Joy, there's a strong message for you in the 1111. And I don't know, I can't remember if you were the one that just said, when is my finances changing? However, they're showing these pillars lining up, 1111, right? You and this. Are you equal to what you're seeing? Are you the one that meets the one? Are you willing to see the one, the future you that has the money? Are you willing to trust that and step out of your comfort zone instead of doing the same patterns, doing the same way, doing things the same way? Because behind that is another one, and that future cannot be accessed until you step into this one. And then there's another one behind that, and each of them are glowing brighter. They're all white light when I look at them, and that could be a message for all of us, but I really saw Joy's name pop in right there. Now, the other thing that's fun about 1111 is it's you and who? Is it you and your higher self? So drop in right now. You're in a sacred space. If you are the first one, are you embodying your oneness? Are you here? Are you fully in your body? Are you still burdened by beliefs of not being good enough and being stuck by circumstances or the past in your life? Or are you willing to embody being the one that is supported by the one? And that one in front of you, your higher self, an aspect of you that if you want to communicate, you must believe and understand and accept, and simply accept is the best idea. Accept that you have a part of you that knows the path and you're willing to hear it. Now, because we're talking angel numbers, the angels are starting to show up really big right now, and things are glowing bigger and bigger, very angelic-y, kind of that glowing white light. And this is an Isis energy, the Isis pendulum, which I'm going to be teaching a little bit of in Avalon and in my sacred magic class, is a healing tool that is a battery that concentrates and emanates very, very white light. And so they're showing that if you are one with who you were meant to be, and you trust it, that the angels are lined up in front of you, will you follow it? Because we can only give you one step, and then one step, and then one step. Ooh, now it all turned around, and I'm seeing it from out here. And from out here, it reminds me of when I was in Greece last year with a retreat, and we went to several sites of beautiful healing sites, and they had the pillars, right? The big columns. And we looked across at it, and it was like each column between that one was a portal. So right now they're showing you that you have almost like 4 portals that you could walk through that are willing to open for you, for your oneness, for you becoming more in one with yourself, that will take you to a new realm of understanding of who you are. Then there is a master standing in each portal right now. So those of you who see or resonate with that message, the angel number 1111 came through to say a confirmation that you are in the right place, you're on the right path, and now you're not only remembering you are a master, that your master guide or mentor is here. And then the master who you're going to become is here, and the master you were in the past is here. And those are the 4 portals that are opening. And when you connect through time and space to all those aspects, you are not going to feel alone. You're going to activate your Merkaba. You're going to begin to flow in a completely different way. And then you could get up and trust the inner guidance, because it's going to be there. Thank you. Okay, enough about 1111. Really, really wonderful. Hold gratitude for the energy of money. Wonderful. Sylvia say, I see multiple numbers all day, and I have for many years. Yes. And one of the things is about it is that if you see them, are you just going, oh, thank you, that feels good? Or, oh, I saw that 3 times a day? Or are you taking a pause to listen a little bit deeper? Because we just saw a lot of different ways that angel numbers can be interpreted. MK says, wow, that was dead on. I had no problem raising money while I was going through cancer treatment. Bingo. But I do feel I can't ask now because I asked so many times before. Food for thought. 100%. And I'm glad you mentioned that, MK, because a lot of people won't ask for what they want. So they'll be like, oh, I told people that I'm going to help them move, and then I have to do this for my mother, and I'm doing this, and I'm so over obligated. I'm sacrificing all my time and energy. I don't have time for my own healing. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I never get to my spiritual work or something like that. And when I say, well, tell this person, that person, and that person those obligations, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel. And they just get like, oh no, they'll hate me. I'll be a bad person. Something will happen. You have to choose you first. And then I'll say, oh, okay, so you won't tell this person that you're not going to come and do that because you have things that you need to do that are important for you. And thank you. And please accept my apologies or whatever. If you were sick and you couldn't get out of bed, would you tell them I can't come? Of course. If the doctor wrote you a prescription and said, you cannot leave the house, you cannot open your eyes, or you cannot lift heavy things, and you are obligated to go help someone move, you would be much more willing to speak up. So it's speaking up for our truth and ourself, because other people always try to decide whether it's worthy or not, right, to come back to us. So yes, and the fact that you have asked before doesn't make you a bad person, and doesn't mean you can't ask now. It means that you already know how to ask, and you've already been proven to you by your guides, by your source, by the hidden realms. We're here to support you. What do you need? What do you want? Increasing your intuition is as important as paying for cancer treatment. And I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but what if you intuitively knew that your body was getting this cancer before you had to go have the treatment, and then you went to a healer or you started eating different. I have one of my clients who's working with an ancient grandmother tradition and putting herbs and not wearing metal and different things, and the tumor on her body is literally disappearing, and it isn't costing her a penny. What if your intuition guided you to not take that job and you saved yourself 3 years of hell? Or what if you didn't go on that date and start dating that person again, and you instead waited a little longer and suddenly you found a loving, supportive relationship? These are very important for your health, because stress and money is the number one cause of stress, emotion, divorce, and everything else is causing the drama. But if your intuition and your inner voice is guiding you and you listen to it, even though you didn't understand why, okay, and then you can look back. Like, I moved out here on the beach and I didn't know COVID was going to happen. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go outside. I got to swim. I got to pretty much live my life normally all through COVID. I did not have to have this locked in feeling, but I didn't know that was going to happen. It was just one of the benefits of listening to guidance, even though I didn't know how I was ever going to do what I was called to do. So, Stacy Jam, I'm so glad, Joy. I accept. I'm missing something towards resolution of my divorce that is equal. Wow, there's so many people in my students and clients that are like, I need to finish this divorce. I've been separated for 18 years or whatever. And if you're in the US, there are free resources for women and very, very affordable resources for women to get a divorce. That it's equal and fair to both. Is it something in my energy, or is it in very negative energy stalling this? Can I resolve it without trial? Absolutely. You do not have to go into a conflict. You do not have to have a fight. What you have to do is go within and listen and speak up, stand up, let your inner guidance hold the frequency of you being separated with a conscious uncoupling, or sometimes they call it now, right? With peace and harmony. And remember, you cannot make them be happy if you're the one that wants out. My husband was not happy that I wanted out, created a lot of fear and a lot of drama, even though at one moment he came to me and said, you know, you were right. We really weren't happy. And I never would have said this, and I never would have asked for this. And even though it's not easy, I think this is the best thing for both of us. Then he went back to being unpleasant. So I don't recommend trial. I don't recommend conflict. I do recommend standing up for yourself. And Stacy Jam, I think you should come on down to the intuition class this August, in a few weeks, and get started on that alone. Would be worth it. What we can transform for you, right? Hi, Lisa, cat. Of course. Hi, Tushar. Hi, ma'am. If possible, please guide me about details of my future spouse. Have I met her already? Ooh, la, 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 la. Okay. And when I see angel numbers, Sylvia says, I always think of them. I thank them and my guides for their presence and ask for guidance. Excellent. Excellent. Sylvia's been a student of mine for a while and a dear, wonderful being. And Irritek says, I'd like to know if they have a message for me from my son's father who died in March. Absolutely. Okay, so a lot of questions. Let's dive into your questions. Let's do a little bit of fun here. I need a sip. And all right, so we have, I've got my oracle cards, of course. I've got my pendulum, of course. I've got books. We talked in the beginning, if you just showed up, a lot of different ways of divination, okay, of using your intuition. So I'm a very experienced intuitive guide, in case you hadn't noticed, because I've gone through a lot of shit in my life. I've lost shit. I've not understood shit. I've gone through it. I've figured it out. I've studied across the planet with shamans and mystery schools and healers and schools of energy medicine and on and on and on. And Silva Method and Tellington Touch. And sometimes I remember things, oh my gosh, I did that too. And so it isn't just taking the course. So MK said, well, I listened to the guidance that I was meant to do this, and now I ended up with debt. So she sees that she listened to her heart, but she either didn't do it right or it created debt. And therefore now she doesn't want to listen to her heart. That's that common thing of doubting your own inner voice, which means really, really, really come to the class because I want you to have that trust, that confidence in your inner guidance. And I'm going to share so many ways of understanding guidance, following guidance, getting the next step. If you take a step and make a decision, and then you go, oh, okay, I don't know what to do next. Was that the right decision? You get guidance and make the next decision. You only need to know what's the next step, what's the next step, what's the next step. And that opens up, and it's going to open pathways you've never known before, right? So we have also crystals, different forms like this Isis or Mary or Artemis or Jaguar or the crystal itself. They hold certain qualities. They're conscious beings. So you might be called. I'm always moving them around because I'll go over here to do a private session, and then I'll get ready for the session. I'll create the infinity healing chamber. I'll clear and cleanse myself. I'll connect to that person and their divine good. And then I will start to hear, I just say see, sense, hear, whatever you want to call it, different crystals or different entities calling that want to be a part of that session. So I did a session for a mastermind client the other day, and we were just getting ready, and I went, oh, okay, wait, somebody's calling. So I came over here, and Nike, this is the goddess Nike, an aspect of Athena, and Athena came through from her, the owl came through for her, and then all other owl kind of things were happening. Nike is the goddess of victory, and she is in Athena's right hand. And so if she comes to you, it's to remind you that your victory is already in your hand, okay? That you have this here. And your right hand is your action hand. So taking action now means you already have a predetermined victory. She had Kuan Yin. This particular Kuan Yin, very beautiful Kuan Yin, came and actually squatted in her root and her sacral to hold compassion for her unequivocally. And my obsidian neck bracelet wanted to communicate with her, and this card of Athena came and asked me to put this around her like this because it started to clear her hearing, clear and absorb certain stones, absorb energies and protect and so on. So one of the things right now is that what I'll do is I'll tune into you, and then I'll see, unless you have a particular form, if you were like, I want an oracle card, or I want a crystal, or I want a goddess, or I want an animal guide, or I want you to use your pendulum. I'm a pendulum master, and there's a lot of reasons why I'm not going to go into now, but be very careful with pendulum and dowsing because you can easily influence it, and make sure that you learn and you clear yourself so that you can trust that guidance. Right? Which is why I like to speak to people who want to come to a retreat, because I can tune in and I know I've turned 2 people down already for this retreat and I'm not full yet. But instead of going, oh, I just want your money and I want you to come, I say, no, I have to be the guardian of the circle. Okay. So I feel this idea of spouses and divorce and all of this love is very, very, very calling very strongly. Okay. Going back. All right, let's see what we have here. Also, as you learn intuition, I'm going to give you all kinds of guidance on double checking yourself and sitting through the silliness or the doubt that might come up. And for me, excuse me, I need something to drink. When I get guidance, and it tends to go like I'm doing a lot of work with all the gods and the energies and the earth and the land and Merlin and the dragons from Avalon, because that's where I'm going. And so if I start doing a session and suddenly I'm seeing gods and goddesses and Merlin or dragons from Avalon, I have to stop and pause and just check in that it's not because that's what I'm focused on, but that it really is the guidance for them. Now, I've done this for so long that I very rarely have something like that happen that isn't correct. However, it can happen. So that's where you want to keep becoming a clear channel. Okay. I'm getting something. Who asked about money? Let me scroll down here. Please say hi if you're just listening. Joy. Okay, Joy. I already got a little message for you, but I just saw your card. So if you're okay with me giving you a card, I'm going to go find it right now. So I have most of my oracle cards on a slideshow. Yay! There's Morgan Le Fay, but what we're looking at is this one here. So this one is for joy. So go ahead and take a look at it. We don't have the words on it or the magic symbols on it yet. These are created by me asking, channeling, and then Chris creating the art, and we go back and forth, and then it speaks to me and I put the message on it, and then my assistant puts on the sacred symbols and any other energies like light coming out of here or something over there, whatever is the guidance. It's a co-creative process with source and the energy. So this is the Holy Grail. However, it is a chalice. So if the Holy Grail has no meaning to you, it isn't just a cup of Christ and all that. We're talking about the Holy Grail as a quest. And we're talking about the Holy Grail as a chalice, a womb, a sacred feminine womb. Okay. And this one, I have other ones like this. Okay. But this is the one that came for you. And I believe the reason is because you asked about money, and we see gold energy coming out of it. And this very active gold energy. There is the fiery gold energy. This is like the sun energy, the gold ray. And the gold ray is the 12th ray of creation. And it is the divine God ray, which is that divinity in action and in form. Okay. And it also holds all the other rays of creation within it. And that means that you have the whole crayon box, right? You have the ability to create anything you want. It is within you, and it is lighting up on fire right now. So when you say, when will my finances change? The answer right now is you have that awakening within you. So the question is a good question, except what is optimal for me at this time around my financial situation? As one is shifting to an inward look, all right? Not looking outward. Now, that doesn't mean you don't ask for a raise or get a new job or start your business or decide, where can I serve people? What do I do that's of value? And you go find the people who want to pay you for it. Of course, that's an outward action. And that is one of the energies in this card for you, is an outward action, a sacred masculine action of one going within, the chalice being you. It's your womb, it's your creative center, and it's where you hold a lot of energy. Now, this is an interesting one because it has this divine temple around it, and you can still see, but what do we see? It's not like people are here. It's almost an ancient temple, but at the top of the pillars, they don't just go up like a straight pillar like the one, okay? These go up and fan out, because this is you rising up and exploding or opening, not really exploding. You don't need to explode, like opening, fanning out like a flower blooming. All right. And the top of a pillar, because you are a pillar connecting to earth and to the higher self. Your throat or your neck is a pillar connecting your higher self, your third eye, and your pineal, your crown, and your higher self, and all these higher realms, all these antennas that you have that we awaken and activate and understand better in the Intuition Awakening School. You have all of these. So this is showing, if you look in the background, that you are in a place of rising up, but you are not, it's in the dark. Do you see that? That they're all around you, that you are in this sacred space, that you are in this temple. That is you, and it is your life. But the life you've created is, a lot of things are in the shadows. A lot of things are in the background. A lot of things are in the dark. And this opening of this flowers, these petals, excuse me, of this is that as you rise up, which this chalice is showing you, that right now in this moment, the gold ray, so you want to get sun, you want to go out in the sun, can be through 3 minutes, okay? You don't have to get burned or anything, but you want to have sunlight come right here onto your third eye. And you want to open your palms, and you want to ask the sun, and you want to heart weave with the sun, and you want to weave. And this is all stuff I teach you. And you want to say, I receive my sacred download of optimal divine gold ray energies. I receive the golden spiritual sunlight. Because what do plants do? They take the sun, but they all take it differently. Full sun, little sun, shade, whatever. They take it in and they transform it into food. Well, we do the same thing. We may eat food, but that food came from the sun, and you take in sunlight and you take in just the parts that are right for you. So when you have a financial challenge and you look at it as the gold ray, as an array of abundance, it goes to your worthiness, to your personal value, to your belief in yourself and your self-identity. And then it goes to a whole bunch of other stuff that brings up the fear. So the fear is the shadows of these blossoming parts of you that are up here that have already built. Okay, you already have built the house, so to speak. The temple is here, the opening of these divine flowers, and they look like the blue lotus. Okay, they remind me of the blue lotus in Egypt, which is a divine flower of Isis. It was a divine flower that was like a plant medicine that expanded your consciousness and your awareness. And if you start to come into this temple, to come into yourself, to accept that you already have this built, you stand in here and you start to activate, you draw on that gold ray, you hold your hands on your belly and you say, I accept the chalice of light and I release the darkness from this chalice so that and that's like fear and abuse and I'm not good enough or whatever. It clogs the sacral center and it keeps your creative energy. 60% of your sexual energy is meant to go to creative pursuits. Okay, so have the pleasure, enjoy the sexuality, only do it on your own terms, please. And look to heal any of your issues around that, because it's a stealing of your power. It's an invasion of your sacred space. Okay. And so there's a lot of issues around that. So if that comes up for you, anybody listening, however, and then what I do is a lot of sacred soul sessions, because sacral soul sessions, because we have wound in that space, the fear that I shouldn't speak up and that, I'm not good enough or that I can't create my reality and all those stories. So they live in there. So this is going in deep in and seeing this in there instead of the fear, and starting to light up the shadows, because in the background, what do you see? Those sparks of gold light are starting. So that means that you have around you, but you're not aware of them and you're not paying attention, possible places for gold. Now, again, this could be money in a very direct way. It could be opportunities, and it could be self-belief, and it could be whatever is going to lead to that money. Okay. Woo, that was a fun one. Okay, Joy. So if I do a reading or share something with you, I would love to hear your response, please. Okay. And let me put this away. Just remember to join me in a week or 2 weeks, I think. Okay, comments. Let me just see now. Who else? Trish. Okay, so I'm feeling Trish right now. So let me go down here, see if anybody is specifically. I'm on my own, which I love. Yeah, I understand that. I'm doing a lot of inner work. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. I'm trying to lose the fear. So stop trying. You probably have heard that. The thing about trying isn't just like clean up your words, like a teacher hitting your knuckles and saying you're stupid. I do reinforce that because I want you to understand that when you're in the state of trying, nothing happens. Okay, so I'm trying to lose weight. I am trying to make money. I'm trying to believe in myself. Well, you can start out and say, you know what? I'm going to try this food. I'm going to try this class. I'm going to try talking to dragons. Okay, that's the first step, perhaps. But then trying never does it. You never get to the doing. You never get to the having. So you are in this limbo state, and most people are living in the trying state. Well, I'm trying, but it didn't work. So I'll try again later, but I don't want to try anymore, and I'm disappointed, and so on, right? So be careful of trying. And it's okay if there's no sex going on. Don't worry about that. It's a very common issue. Wow, that's such a common issue that sex and money, I have to tell you, sex, love, and money are all tied up like this. And then they're tied up with your self-image and your value and your respect for yourself. And it becomes a big knotted mess. This is the first thing I did online, was teach people about the spirit of money and how it related to all of that stuff. So don't judge yourself and don't get upset if you don't have sex going on. It just means you have more creative energy to use to rebuild yourself, right? To get out of trying and get into doing, having, or receiving, or being, and get into visualizing and other things, right? Losing the fear is something that you're trying to lose the fear. It means you're always thinking about the fear. I need to lose the fear. Why can't I lose the fear? It's like losing the weight. I was very overweight for a very long time, and I finally lost it all. It took years, but it took an inner shift. And I didn't feel the desperation. I didn't feel the fear anymore that I was going to gain it back, which I had done in the past. So the fear of surrendering, trying to lose the fear, means you're focused on the fear. So stop trying. Just accept that, of course, there's a way. Of course, I'm not the only person on the planet who isn't allowed to have money. I didn't do anything stupid. I'm not here to be punished, and all the other truths. And then stand in the space that says, ooh, I feel that chalice. I feel that gold. I feel that fire. I remember that card. It had flames coming out of it. We made a bunch of different sacred chalice cards that are going to be part of the Celtic deck that we're coming out with. Okay, so I love this. Definitely rebuilding yourself. You're so welcome, Joy. And reach out to me for anything that you want. Okay, please do that. So Trish, and keep doing your inner work, everybody. It is the number one thing that will change your life, bar none. I have a client who started a couple of years ago, and she had to hide. She had to get up at 3 a.m. and go in the bathroom to do her meditations or to listen to my classes because her husband and her family thought it was evil or bad or whatever. And she finally got to the point where she was so afraid, but she was dedicated to it. She felt called to it. And then the longer she did it, the better she felt. And the more she saw, she felt calmer, she felt happier, she was healthier, things flowed in her life. And then she got to the point where she told me one day, I can't not do my spiritual practice anymore. So she slowly became more willing to set the time aside for herself. Now, I don't recommend that you go tell a bunch of people who are negative towards you, I'm going to do spiritual work and I'm going to become a diviner of truth and I'm going to seek my truth and I'm a goddess. And if they're going to pee all over your parade, if they're going to bully you, criticize you, and they have the impact or the ability to do that and you are react to it, keep it to yourself. All right, keep it to yourself till you are stronger. So, yeah, it was you, Joy. All right. So, Trish, I want to go back and just see Trish. I think it was a Trish, right? There you are, TL. My name is Trish. Absolutely, Trish. So, let's take a look here. I don't know. Some of these, like Zoom doesn't let you hear when I sing or chant or do music. I'm a sound healer and things like that. So if you hear that bell, it is one way that I easily clear my connection to Joy and now connect to Trish. So I ask to be a clear and open channel to Trish's highest good and what is optimal for her at this time. Okay. So Trish, there is 2 things that are happening for you. And one of them is an oracle card and the other is a crystal. So let's dive in and see what that is. I'm so excited because tomorrow we're going to do this again. I'm going to have some students here. There we go. So excuse me if I go really fast here because I'm looking for a particular card. Okay, here it is. So take a look at that card for a minute, Trish, because this is the card that's come for you. And then I will take a sip and come back and see if there's anything more that needs to be clarified for you. So whatever you were asking for clear guidance about a particular aspect of your life or what is optimal for you at this time. So whenever I do spiritual work with my classes or like this or anything, certain things happen in my body. And one is a lot of stuff comes up in my throat. So I got to clear it. All right, this is Ishel, and also this crystal asked to come forward, so I'm going to hold it. This is a citrine, and citrine never ever lowers its vibration for anything. It is aligned with the gold ray, and this one happens to have gold rutilations in it, so it's more aligned to the gold ray that I talked about already. Also in my shop, there is the free scale, and there is the free chart of the rays of creation, which are color rays that might help you if you are seeing a particular color. The way we were talking about angel numbers, colors have a frequency and they might mean a chakra, but they also have many other meanings, and that would help you with that. So we're going to hold this because it's time for you to realize that you have to hold your frequency for yourself and not let others drag your frequency down, and that clarity will be yours. Ishel is a Mayan goddess of the moon, of women, of medicine, and abundance. And this is her in her crone aspect. She always has the serpent on her head, like all awakened masters. It means that she is a connected, awakened being. And this is her as the older crone or sage. And she, as the moon goddess, pours down on us the silver goddess ray from the moon. And this is her as a maiden here. And she's also the jaguar goddess. So in some way, the jaguar is also one of your messengers today. So the Mayan maiden moon rainbow goddess, she is also the goddess of the rainbow. I saw a rainbow last night, a double rainbow at sunset on my beach. So that meant she was there. She is the guardian and the name of my house and of my cat, one of my cats. So this is about moon medicine. This is about your magical child and that purity. She also is about abundance and fertility, enlightenment. But the part that's really coming forward is that if you stand in your own clarity, that magical child within you really wants to speak to you. Now, Jaguar is a medicine guide. I'm a Jaguar medicine woman, and I am so honored with what I have learned. And Jaguar takes you beyond through death. Okay, not just physical death, but the death of who you were, the death of a relationship, the death of a job, the death of a belief, a transformational cycle where you let go of certain beliefs, like you no longer have the fear and now you're in just openness and acceptance and belief or something. Okay, but this is about you and your magical child. And I love this card because we didn't just manifest the beautiful maiden, but even the jaguar is a baby jaguar. So your magical child is really wanting to come forward, and your wounded child is there's many aspects of the child, and it's an archetype that we all have. And most of us have a wounded child. For you, you had a denied child, an ignored child, a part of you that you denied, other people denied. They took away your ability to imagine, to dream, and to believe. And in that particular realm, you also embodied that. So Trish, this is a time to get back in touch with your magical child, to reconnect to the fact that your inner child isn't silly, isn't stupid, doesn't have to be quiet, doesn't have to hide. The wounded child is only the child, the denied child is only the child that others didn't see and understand. And then you begin to agree with them. So it's more important than ever that you see this part of you. And if you're like, I don't know how, or I don't know how to love myself. One of my clients recently said, I don't know how to love myself or love my inner child. I never received love, and I'm trying to learn how to do self-love. It's okay. You don't have to know how. That's the beauty of divine intuition and the way that we're made. So your magical child is asking you to play, and this is play in a certain way. I mean, maybe you go play a sport, or you skip along or you look at butterflies, but this is playing with the ethers, playing with the messages, playing with her, because she's dancing around you, she's dancing above you, she's dancing up here, she's playing like this, sitting on the ground. And you don't have to physically do these things. This is something that you have to open your awareness to, that you want to open your heart to, that is it possible that I am magic, that I can reconnect to that innocence, that ability to believe, that ability to see realms, to see fairies, that part of you that can imagine. This is important. And if you do this for the next week or two, and we're in the full moon right now and tomorrow, this is a perfect time for this, is to Call on your magical child when you go to sleep. Ask to go play in your dreams together. Look at where you can bring playfulness more into your life. And it's the magic and the moon. So this is perfect because we're in the full moon. The moon has magic within it, and the moonlight has magic within it. And all of these things that you used to love as a child and perhaps forgot, or perhaps denied yourself, or perhaps stopped doing because you were told, don't do that, it's not responsible. These need to come to light. And this is the power that your adult life is missing, is not just the childlike and the playfulness, because the dolphins always say joy, joy, and we're masters. If you don't find the access to state of joy, most of your things are going to be very heavy, very difficult. So the magical child is the child that sees through the false illusions and lies that you believe about yourself and sees your magic. What is your magic? It's your ability to create. It is the truth that you are divine. Okay. I love Ishelle so much. Thank you, baby. My little baby Ishelle is right over there sleeping. My little baby girl. She came to me. Okay, wonderful. Ooh, who's next? Okay. Stacy Jam. All right, Stacy Jam. So I do think that you coming to the intuition class, which I know you've been to before, and thank you for sharing here about how powerful it was for you, is again another doorway for you. And when it comes to resolution of the divorce, equal and fair to both, is you are wishing for that, and you perceive that the other side is not, and that there's going to be a conflict, and there might be. You can't control what the other side does. You are going to step into that equality. So let me see. All right. If you have not you, other people, if you have a question that has more than one answer, like, should I do this, this, or this? Write it down, and I'll do a pendulum for you on that one. So, yeah. So Stacy, we're going to do dragon work tomorrow, but the dragons are here. So let's talk to the dragons, and we'll go ahead. I have 2 dragons. I have more, but so far we have 2 oracle card dragons. And we'll just go through here and see who comes first to us. And there she is. So Kundalini, not surprised. So the Kundalini Dragon Empress is one aspect of dragon energy. Looks very similar to my little dragon here, doesn't it? So the dragon energy is here. It's the dragon year. And the dragon year is a masculine energy year that is building like a sacred masculine, building you a new house, building you a new container for your life. So are you recognizing that you're moving into a new life? Are you using that to move forward? If you want equality and fairness, it isn't about them. It's about you treating yourself fairly. It's about you building this place. It's about you recognizing that you have support, and that the dragon energy, the green wood dragon, has built you a new place for you to step into, that you can unleash your divine feminine, that is part of your nature to be equality. Now, this particular dragon card is about the original soul blueprint that you carry in your sacral, right? In your 8 original cells. It's the rising of your personal power. And because we're talking about Kundalini, of course, it is your life force, and it is the masculine and feminine balancing to rise up, to open your chakras, to open your third eye, to create the wings in your crown, and to allow that serpent energy to come. Serpent energy, dragon energy, is transformational energy. It is the willingness to shed the old. Are you willing to shed your old identity? You have not shed your old identity to who you are with that person, and you do not see yourself as equal to that person, and you're more concerned about wanting things to be a certain way, but that you don't know how, or that they won't want it, and that they have control over it, or that there'll be conflict, than you stepping into your life. So you have to let go of everything to do with this life and wanting it a certain way, and embody that fairness and that equality, because your kundalini is rising and your power is rising, and you are suppressing it right now, and it's painful. It's going to start to come out in some form in your body, itches or hives or something, irritations or something like that, maybe bowel, maybe tummy irritations. It's like, ooh, 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 okay? This is you stepping out of a relationship that's complete. So first you need to complete it, and you need to acknowledge that the gifts were there, and that even though the readiness now to move on is there, that it can be equal, it can be fair, but that how that unfolds is not in your hands. You cannot control the other person. So you need to go into your womb. You need to reclaim your power. You need to talk to your original blueprint, and then you need to give permission for your personal power to raise up. Call in the dragons. Of course, dragons are strong and they can be fierce, but they're loving and they're tiny and they're beautiful and they're guardians. And you have an energy now that is becoming very active, okay? And when that stuff becomes very active within us and it keeps calling us, and we keep listening to the old fears, or we keep listening to the people around us, or we say, well, not yet, or when I see the money, or see that, or that person says it's okay, then I'll do this. You can't wait any longer. So whatever you feel is the next step, please go in, and don't go in and just call dragons randomly. Go in, hold your womb, and go into that, because many things that we've done recently, the dragons have come in and curled up around our original blueprint, our sacred Janisa crystal here. And like we see pictures of the dragons in caves with wrapped around the treasure, the gold, is they said, we are the guardians of the treasure of your power. We are not greedy. That's the perspective of the patriarch. Oh, dragons are greedy and they take all the money and then they guard it. Well, gold is actually for alchemy, to alchemize into divine health so you can live 150 years, 200 years, to alchemize into divine power so that you can let light and power out and you generate your own energy and you don't need anything from anyone else. Okay, so this is the place that you're at, and that is really, that's the answer. So oh my goodness, I love it. Now I started to see, yes, Tushar. How wonderful. I'm so happy to meet you. Okay, I'm going to clear that and cleanse that and clear that and cleanse that. So Tushar, I started to get guidance for you. Again, if anybody has asked a question or wants to, and I'll scroll down in a minute, and you have a particular thing you'd like, a card, or you would like a crystal, or a particular goddess, or some other form of earth energies, different things to come forward. So Tushar, there's two things right now for you that are coming forward. One is your future spouse. Have I met her already? So the question is interesting, because there's definitely the hint that you feel like maybe you have, and you don't trust yourself. So they want you to go deeper. The energy is trusting your body and trusting yourself, and not forcing what's happening, because the trust of yourself is going to become so strong within you that you're going to vibrate. You're going to become like a tractor beam in your womb. You're going to be overwhelmed with the energies. It's going to become so obvious to you that when you're with somebody, that they are lifting you up, they are complimenting you, that they're resonating with you, that they have the opportunity to open doors for you because they're a part of your future. So there's a different level. It's 12:12 right now, everybody, where I am. There's a different question to ask, okay? So we talked earlier about when it comes to intuition and divination and psychic, answers and guidance, what you want to do is become your own inner guide. Listen to your body, listen to your guides, listen to what the things that are popping up, the angel numbers or whatever. And the other part is that having the trust of yourself doesn't mean that there is an absolute answer right now. So timing is difficult with intuitive answers because it depends on how you interpret it. It depends on what you let get in the way. You might be inspired when you leave this call. I'm going to go do this. And then you go back into an old pattern tomorrow and you let other people cause doubt in you and you delay what you're doing. So this is more about your inner trust and using an etheric dowsing rod. So if you're familiar with dowsing rods, this is my dowsing rod. Okay, I'm studying to become a master dowser, to locate rare earth energies and to do a lot of things way beyond. And again, they're easy to use and get wrong answers. But what do? They give you they point you in the right direction. That's a good way to put it. What they're saying is that you've been maybe looking in the wrong direction, or you've been wanting something and you're waiting for the direction, or you think you were pointed in a direction towards a certain person, and that isn't the right person, or it wasn't the right question, or it wasn't the right time. Now, what you can do with dowsing rods is you can ask, show me something, and it will point to it, but you can also track. And so when you get good at it, you can track and you can be like, where is the Mary current, and when we're in Avalon. So where is the Mary Magdalene current? And it can say over here. And then you can be, okay, I want to track the current. Well, it's a current moves, right? So it'll point and then you walk a little bit and then it'll point and then you walk a little bit and you point. So this to me is about telling you to use your own inner dowsing rod, your own inner compass, might be a better way to put it, in a way that you have you track and then you readjust and you ask again, and you track and then you ask again. Now, other aspects of, you have to ask the questions. You have to not be attached as well, because there's something that you want and you want to look at, what do I want by knowing this? What do I want from that partner? Am I expecting that partner to do something for me or give me something? And if you start to embody that now, then that will change your need, your energy, and what you're attracting. So again, a whole love thing is a very important energy of going in, clearing certain desires, and having the correct inner alignment, that you aren't seeking someone to save you or fix you or take over or complete you, but that you are whole and they are whole, and you meet together like that, like a one and a one. Let me just see. I think there's something else here. There's also the message of waiting for your inner compass. It starts to do like this, and then you go. So this is a seeking, right? This is seeking your truth, is the same thing. Seeking someone. You go like that and you meet someone. And then you go, ooh, I seek it. And I found, is this the answer? And don't make that the answer, because like I said, with a dowsing rod, you track, you might go this way, and then you get to that point and now it points another way. And then you seek that. And listen to the earth. That's the other message here for you, is to be in tune with the earth energies. Let them come through. We are Gaia, we are earth, and there's a lot of wisdom, and our body speaks to us. So when you think of this person or when you think of this request, go into your meditation, create your sacred space, go in and ask for I am seeking my truth and what is optimal for me at this time. And I am ready and willing and open and receptive to receive or to be guided towards, okay, not to, I don't need the answer now. I'm guided towards my divine partner, the soulmate, or however you like to put that, words out there. And then see how you feel. Then ask yourself, what will it feel like when you know that partner, when you meet that partner? And you may not necessarily know right away, because when I met Chris, I didn't know that it was him. And yet 2 months before I met him, I was just in the beginning of my separation and divorce. So I was not looking for somebody. So it was interesting to have someone show up, but I started to feel it in my body. I started to feel, who is that? Oh my gosh, wow. And I was doing business with a lot of men around the world. So I was like, was it this person in London? Is it that guy over there? Is it this person? I was like, I don't know. I don't want a man. Let me let it go. And pretty soon it got so strong that it dropped from my solar plexus into my womb. And I did feel like a tractor beam. It was like, vroom, vroom, vroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this? And then I met Chris. And when I first met him, I didn't know immediately. He came to a talk I gave. He didn't speak up, which I now know is common for him. He just sat quietly next to me, right next to me on my left side. Very interesting. His dad did all the talking, but then he started to call me every 2 weeks. Hey, let's get together and talk about real estate. Hey, let's get together and talk about, these different things. And we found out all these things we had in common. He did prosperity consciousness talks and other things, but it was always him, me, and his dad. All right. So pretty soon I started to go, oh my gosh, it's him. But then I would show up with like a low cut blouse and be like, and he didn't look. And so I was like, okay, I guess I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I finally knew for sure it was him, and we went somewhere together, the spirit organized something for us together, and he didn't know, because he was in a state of depression. He thought I was not dateable. Like I was, he knew I was married, but he knew I was separated, but he just thought, oh, well, she's not available in some way or something. And so it wasn't until this event happened that we came together and we sat down, and I realized I need to say something, and it came out of me. And all of a sudden he woke up and he looked at me and he goes, what are you saying? Because I'm interested. Now, maybe this person you're talking about already is interested, and you already have that, aspect of connection. Maybe there's already dating, or maybe you're wondering, but this energy is very important for you to embody. What do you want to be? How do you want to feel when you are with that person, just as much as you're able to now? And it can just be qualities. It could just be, I feel soft, peace, I feel protected, I feel safe. And make sure that you clear those energies up, that you're not like, oh, I want someone to just take care of me. I don't want to have to be alone. You have to kind of go through that phase of being alone before you can come and not be codependent. Okay. Oh, wonderful. I hope you come to the class. This is such a wonderful thing to work on. Okay, let's see. Yes, I think it is time for Iritag. Let's do a few more now. Good. MK says it's a reminder to get back into my oracle card practice. Absolutely. A tarot is fine, and it's a whole other thing. It's 1221 right now. 1221. So the angel numbers are still speaking to us. Anybody have a particular resonance? But think about that. 1 and 1 are being the brackets now. They're being the container or the sacred masculine building. Inside of it is 2 and 2, and that's unity and unity. And that's you and me and you and me. And here's our community inside of this sacred space. Really beautiful. And other things it might be. So the tarot has a specific way. And what I'm going to do in this Intuition Awakening class, because we're talking a lot about divination, we're going to work with dragon energies. We're going to do all the awakening energy, different activations, new ones for your senses, of course, because we're all new people from a year ago and 2-3 years ago. And we're also going to work with oracle cards at the beginning of every class. So I'm going to teach you new ways of interpreting, looking at the picture, interpreting how it means to you, looking at a word, having different ways of working with the cards so that you can expand. And working with the tarot is a little bit different, but similar to oracle cards, because oracle cards can be a little bit easier than tarot. And the tarot has a history that you may resonate with, you may not resonate with, you may have fear around. So other things may come up as well. So, okay, Iritag, I have a message for my son's father who died in March. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So I want to just go down here real quick. Hi, Ina. Okay, a card and a crystal. Oh, Trisha, you're so welcome. If there's anything else about what came through that you can share, I would really appreciate it. Hi, Marnie. And MK said, my work contract finishes next month, and I have no idea where I should let go of shoulding. Be looking next. I want to use my talents, but I don't know where to focus. Excellent. So being in I don't know is being in the child. It's being in the 0 point. It's being in the beginner's mind. And so letting go of knowing means that you're more open. to opportunities and things that could appear for you, MK, and this is true for all of us, that you've never thought of. In fact, if you try to go, oh, I need a job being a X, a nurse or a this or a that, and you put that box around you, there is so many ways of working now. You want to look at the qualities of what you want to do. You want to use your talents. Well, what are your talents? Do you respect your talents? Do you value them? Then open up and say, show me more places that people would value me and my talents. Show me more places. Show me more ideas. Show me more places and ways that I can connect and I can serve people. Okay. So, oh, good. I hope I talk to you soon, MK, because you're just a beautiful vibration, right? Hi, Spirit Messenger. Definitely rebuilding. Okay. Hi, Nor. Is Faisal coming towards you romantically? Ooh. Okay, good. So I'm going to go back to Ira Tag. Sonia, what do the crystals have to share with me? Oh, good. So we got some people who want to talk with the crystals. And Airtag, I know you come all the time, so I'm going to trust that we are going to know exactly. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Okay. All right. So there's a couple things coming to me. Beautiful. And your son's father who died in March. So there is a strong connection with you in your navel, your umbilical cord, which I'm not surprised because, of course, your umbilical cord connected to your mother and to your grandmother and to your son, and doesn't matter if they're adopted. My kids are adopted. My birth child, Jordan, she died, but I adopted twins, and there's still a connection there, but it's a little different and how that works. So there's this sense of speaking to you from this sacred place. And it's speaking to you. I saw the dragon again, so I'm just giving a pause to make sure that we are talking dragons again. Okay, dragon year, dragons. Let's take a look here. It is a different dragon that is asking to speak with you. It is the earth dragon. So let's see where she is. So Delphine is the dragon that is a daughter of Gaia's, and Delphi in Greece, which was the most famous place for intuition, the Oracle of Delphi, was birthed as the navel of Gaia. It is the place where direct connection to Gaia's life force, and where she birthed Delphine and asked her to be the Kundalini of the earth and to guard her navel, to guard her sacred space. And this was when she created the first oracle, who was Daphnis, and they just sat in the caves and they started the sanctuary of Athena. And it was before originally, and then it became a famous place with temples and buildings and stuff, of course, and we go there now. However, this is he's speaking through this part of you, and Delphine representing that life force of Gaia, that connection to the navel, forgotten powers and navel reconnection. This is a combination of both earth dragon energy, and we have the green wood dragon this year. And the green wood, of course, is an earth energy. Wood is a tree, and wood is what you build with, and green is new. So there's a sense right now that his message is that it's time for you to build a new life, that it is time for you to see his relationship to your son and his way of supporting you, regardless of how he supported you before. I kind of dropped that one in there, so I don't know the story, but just to let you know, he's like, well, don't think about how I supported you before. Be open to a new relationship. Focus here. And when we go into the navel, we go into our very primordial connection through the mother line and through our line to Gaia, and through the mother line, Sophia and Gaia and primordial mother and divine mother and great goddess and all these aspects of creator. And so really strong, though, is this idea of really allow him to still help you, but now he can build from the ethers. He can be someone who is building the new life and the new reality for you and for your son. in a sacred way and with these dragon energies, and that they hold a really beautiful sacred space for you to both step into, that you are safe and that you are protected, and that it is time for you to flourish. It is time for you to release this, but to feel that connection, grounded earth, and he will be there. So it was a very new relationship way. Beautiful, beautiful. Ooh. I love this work so much. You know, when you do this work, like you come to the Intuition Awakening School and you do this work, whether you're new to it or you've been doing it a long time, you take your trust of yourself, you take your senses and open to new things, you discover who you were, what lineages or what powers you have. You can start creating a life right now where there is more peace, more love. Your divorce comes through. You know, you no longer have to believe that you're not good enough. You can find a job that is so aligned to your truth, so aligned to your beauty, because you say, well, I want to work with women, or I want to work outside, or I want to have my own schedule, or I want to travel, or I want, you know, what are the qualities you want in your sacred work, and who are you giving your pearls to? And what happens now is so profound, because you have a very different experience of who you are and what's possible for you, instead of saying, oh, I need money to pay my bills, right? Or I don't want to have any more debt, right? Okay, let me see here. I feel like Sonia. Hi, Sonia. Sonia Barbara, crystals have to share with me for optimal guidance and how to bring my work out into the world, and when. Ooh, how beautiful. Work and when, work and when. All right, Sonia Barbara. Okay, we're going to call on the sacred crystal realms, clear communication. We call on that, and we ask for clear connection to the highest good for Sonia, and for her to express her work, her value, to give that which she has to give to the world. What is she here to create? How is she ready to be seen? Who is ready to see her? And when is the optimal time? We call on the crystal kingdoms, we call on Gaia, we call on Delphine, and we call on all of the realms that are here to allow us this access to truth, to clarity, to wisdom. Well, Sonia, first of all, you have a clear connection to Atlantis. And in Atlantis, they had spiritual technology where they worked with crystals in the crystal kingdoms, not just having giant crystals and creating computers like we do now that are in all computers. We couldn't have a computer without crystals. Many forms of technology and life force, but they had the ability to communicate with the crystals, and the crystals were sunk, they were dropped, and they were put to sleep, and they were asked to hold their wisdom till about 2012, when they began to wake up. And they might be down in the earth, in the vortex in Arkansas or Brazil. They might be in your hand or in your home. And they might also be in the ocean, where the beams are now coming to you. But your crystals are actually very important guides for you. For the starters, that is one of the ways that you want to receive the guidance for your work, whether you currently work with crystals in your actual, like what I do for other people or not. It is what you need for yourself. It is a battery for yourself. So you want to have 3 black stones. I like obsidian. There's shungite. There's all different other kinds of stones that you could get. Even smoky quartz would be good, but these are going to create protection. And the first thing you need to do is create a sacred space and call on them or other energies as protection. Now, this isn't protection out of fear. It is protection so that you are a clear and open channel. This to receive the guidance, to receive the clients, to receive the money, to receive the information, to let the information or the healing or the energies that come through you be what is optimal for those people, not filled with your fears or your thoughts or your big brain, but that you have a circle. It's like a stone circle, but black. And I just see the 3 and they're around you. So first, create that. Know that you have that. That is the perfect thing. And as far as timing goes, they said, when are you willing to step in and step out? What does that mean? Step into the sacred circle. Start to create a daily space. Build your business spiritually. what are the energies you want in your business? What are the, there's all these courses and coaches, and I was a business coach for a very long time. I can help you start any business anywhere, both from understanding online marketing to the spiritual and energetic side. And the most important thing is the energy or the flavor or the materials that you build your business with. Are you building it from fear and desperation, or are you waiting for something to happen first? You have to step out and step in. So that's a guidance. It might have a different meaning to you. Step out and step in. Step into this circle and create it consciously. Call on these different crystals. Actually get ones. You don't have to have big fancy crystals. You can have little tiny ones. You can have big fancy ones, whatever you want. Put them around you. Put them in a circle on your altar, and then put them in around you in the room that you're working in when you meditate or when you sleep. They're going to create guardian posts. They're going to create a sacred space. This is a space between the worlds. Now, anything that comes in that is not for your highest good or comes out of you that is limiting you, blocking you, filling you full of fear, or drawing to you people you don't want, is going to be absorbed by these crystals. So that's the first thing they say. So the when is, when are you ready to step in? And that is the time that it will all begin. And because you first must know how to create sacred space, you first must know how to cleanse, you first must work with your own sacred powers of clearing and cleansing and creating space that is going to protect you. The next thing is, seeing dragons for you too. But no, it's la 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 la. Oh, there's another one there. It is here. I almost didn't see you. Kuan Yin has been holding this. This is a tiny wand. Okay. So I want you, or they want you to have a wand. If you have a wand you've made, or you come on the Avalon retreat, you can make a wand with us in Avalon. You can have wands like this. This is a Lemurian crystal, very, very special seed crystal of communication. You could have a very nice wand like this. It doesn't matter. This is a teeny tiny little wand. It didn't cost that much money, and it's clear quartz crystal. Why is it blue in colors? Because it is painted with gold, and it's a process of creating that. So this is a combination of gold and quartz. But the real thing about a wand, this is for you to focus. A wand isn't like, oh, the wand is going to do the work. No, you are the one clearing your mind, opening yourself, focusing. Knowing how to ask the right questions, knowing how to be the clear channel. And the wand, whether it's physically in your hands, and right now you need a physical wand. You can just go outside and get a stick. You can use the stick. You can bless the stick. You can put the stick in the ground and do a ritual around it. You can create an altar and bless it and call in things to ask for this wand. I mean, the original divination for water, very successful, was taking a twig from a tree and using it, and it reacted to the earth. So you could paint it, you can add crystals to it, you can not do anything fancy to it, doesn't really matter. They're telling me you could even use a feather if you really wanted initially as a wand. This is a feather that I received in one of our ceremonies that we did in March from my Mayan and Aztec friends. This is a wand too, because it points. So what does a wand do? It focuses your energy. It allows you to have that singular focus. It allows you to send out or to receive very direct, clear energy. So those are the two things that are the best next step for you. Okay, here's another one that I have over here. I have a lot of these wands. I usually take them to ceremony and to sacred places. And then if I have them, I sell them to people who come to the retreats because they're imbued with some really powerful energies. So, yeah, you can come here. All right. Woohoo, Sonia. Cece, what an amazing insight, wisdom, and healing for all. I'm so glad. Let's see who's next. You're so welcome, Lisa Cat. Oh, good. Okay, Sylvia, I have someone else that came in first, and then I am going to do my dear divine Sylvia wants dragon and crystal energy. I think we just did a reading for you, didn't we? Okay, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. I never felt such grief. Oh, Iritag, I love dragons and I love Gaia. I never felt such grief. It's so important to, when someone leaves our life, even if you're not actively living with them, maybe a parent that you've been estranged from, maybe an ex that you don't talk to. When my ex passes on, I'm going to feel great grief because I love him, because we went through a lot together, because we've had many lives together. And even though our divorce was difficult and I was the one that wanted out, I don't hate him or blame him. We both completed some very, very big contracts. And now I just have harmony. We don't talk or anything, but I'm not bothered by him. I'll reach out to him if I need to. So I'm glad, because one of the things that came through for you, honey, was that, see, grief is a very low state of consciousness, and it's the emotional state is regret. And so when we carry heavy regret in our field, it is heavy and it is difficult. So that earth energy to absorb, like give Gaia that grief, let her hold you, let her absorb that heaviness and grieve, purge it, let it out, acknowledge it, so you don't carry it anymore. And then you can transform it. Accept it. All right, Sonia, that was wonderful. Ina, that's who I saw earlier. So Ina, Raimi, a card and a crystal. Okay. It's funny how those came together, and now we're having them come together. So Ina, let me put my wand back. Do you want it back, Kuan Yin? Nope, she wants it right here for us. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to bring my beautiful, really, really, really incredible citrine and bring that out here. And we're going to bring our heart, our little prosperity frog, another prosperity frog here, and another prosperity frog here. Don't know if you guys can see this. Nope, there you go. So I've got here a bunch of wands, prosperity frogs made out of jade and malachite and different green energies. And we've added the wand that we just used from Kuan Yin. So one of the things I'm going to be teaching in the Sacred Magic certification, which is going to be live in Glastonbury, it's different than the retreat and then in other places, is ritual and altars and working with all these different energies. So, okay, Ina. I do. So this is the crystal that popped out for you, my love. It's a rose quartz, which of course embodies love, divine love, pure love, loving self, all aspects of love. But as a sphere, so it depends on the shape, okay? Even if it just appears to you like, oh, rose quartz, it's not just about rose quartz. It may be about rose. It may be about love. It may be about the shape. It may be about other things. So this is a sphere. Okay, and a sphere is the natural creation of life. You see a bubble or a rainbow, what happens? It naturally takes that shape. If we could see the rainbow go all the way around, it would be a sphere. A sphere, the flower of life, is what is around us and what is used. This is what we use for our light body. Okay. And so this natural sphere of love is to asking you to work with love, be in the sphere of love, and realize that this is really a part of you. I see it spinning in your cells. Okay. And I see. Okay. Huh. Maybe. I'm just taking a look at the cards here to see what comes forward. Let's do it this way. We'll put divine love in here for Ina. Ooh, Ina. Wow, Ina. You have some very magic lineages, don't you? I'm seeing crowns of light. I'm seeing you standing on the Tor. I'm seeing you holding a large wand. Ah, very nice. Okay. So this is, let me share this with you guys. This is so much fun. I love this stuff so much. Okay, here we go. So I'll let you take a look at this for a moment while I get a sip. And I'm actually going to just run and relieve myself so everybody can take a look at the Overlighting Deva of Healing. The Overlighting Deva of Healing I have worked with for a really long time, and there's a particular healing method from Michaela Small-Wright with the Paralandra essences. I've been working with them for a very long time. Gorgeous, incredible beings, and the overlighting deva of healing. A deva isn't like a nature spirit, it's like the consciousness of something. And this is a card that came through in November when I was creating these that really had an impact on me, because it had been a while since I worked with her consciously. I know she's with me all the time. So now what I want you to do, everybody who feels a message coming from this, but Ina, is to look at the picture, read the words, see what resonates with you. How is it answering your question? But then look at the picture. What do you see? And one of the things about this beautiful being is that she is overlighting you. Okay, that means she is over and around you, and she's watching you. And what she's holding in her hands is your light. Okay, and with oracle cards, you want to feel that reaction of you, and then look at what else is speaking to you here. She is wanting you to activate your crown. She is wanting you to look within. She was wanting you to accept that inner light and wings. Okay, so I'll be right back. So one of the things as I was releasing, every time you go to the bathroom, just go release, release, release. Everything I don't need goes down and flush it out. Was that you're receiving a healing right now, Ina, and it's that looking within, accepting your inner light, and knowing that healing is happening, and that's really it. What the love stone said is that love is in your cells. So when you look within and you see that light within, and you accept that you have that inner light, then the love is released. And recently I did soul lineage readings, and we had an incredible experience with Hathor, who talked about love and divine love, and that you are love, and what love is, and that it is in your body and your cells and your lineage. So that is the message. Simple but powerful, and giving you that moment to receive it and download it was quite powerful, actually, for everybody. MK, thank you for the guidance. I've made a list of the talents, but sitting here today made me realize I need to add in spirituality and travel. I will sit in the not knowing place. Yeah, be in the not knowing, be in the openness to everything around you. And allowing yourself to think of or receive more ideas, because we're the ones that have to ask, but we also don't have to know, because I didn't know real estate investing existed. I didn't know that I wanted to live in the Mayan land. I barely knew much about them. And spirit guided me here. Everything fell apart in my life. I ended up here. And instead of saying, just staying in my life sucks, doors started opening to me, to the dolphins and to the shamans and to the jaguar that I never would have thought of before. So spirituality and travel, how perfect. Come and join me. Okay, good. Well, I hope all of you will come and join me in the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp. And please go sign up today so we can get you started. And I want to now go to Sylvia. All right. Dragons and crystals. All right. So what's interesting is that what I teach you is that what's optimal is Might be what you think. So I'm asking you to tell me what you feel called to so that you start to trust your intuition. Dragons and crystals, okay, right? And yet, you know, if I'm doing a private session with you and dragons and crystals don't come in, I'm not going to say, well, that's wrong, right? So that's where your logical mind, when it comes to intuition and divination, is to keep out your big brain that wants to tell you what to do, okay? So yeah. A lot of different crystals are they're starting to resonate and vibrate. If you're someone who feels those kinds of energies, you might see the aura of these, or that they're starting to talk to each other and create a little shape, a temple. So I'm going to move them around for Sylvia. All right, so we're going to put the dragon in the center here. All right, and we're going to bring these rose quartz crystals. These are very sacred Camadon crystals from my mystery school, not mine, but the ones that I attended. I don't know if you have any smoky quartz, but it was my first crystal that ever called to me, and I don't have my first pendant that I bought. That was a really big deal to me anymore. Not sure what happened to that one, but I've lost all my jewelry several times, or it moved on to other people. Okay. So there's a guardian aspect to this. More pillars around you. Now we're going to radiate these clear quartz crystals, wands, out from here into different directions. And there's something else. Well, there's love, but there's yeah, it's this one here. There you are. I was like, you were hiding in there, baby. Okay. And this is obsidian. So if you've spent any time with me, you know it's almost my favorite. It's a very common stone for the Maya. I never go anywhere without it. It's protective, it's healing, it absorbs negativity, it helps to clear negativity or pain or even bruises. And so it is very important. And the dragon energy wants to nest on it. It says nesting. Okay, we'll just put you in front of it then. Okay, so we call in Sylvia and we ask that her spirit, her body, her mind, and all the Sylvia aspects in all lives to come into the center, to come into this sacred circle that is created. We call on the crystals in. We call on the amethyst. Oh, there you are. Okay. Wants to be here. All right. Oh, and not you. Got it. So the amethyst wants to be here. Smoky quartz and the clear quartz. We call on the amethyst and the dragons to surround Sylvia and create a container for her highest good and what is optimal for her at this time in her healing. Well, I see you sitting in this circle. So I want you to do this, okay, for the next week, is to sit in a circle, to conjure this up, talk to these, create enormous pillars of light of these crystals around you. Sit on or with the obsidian, whether you have it physically or not, put it underneath you, okay? It's going to be absorbing and pulling out from you. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen. And then sit with the dragons. In this sacred space, the dragons are going to come to you. The dragons want to work with your life force. So again, that's kind of the Kundalini, but it's more than that. It's a life force in many of your hips, your legs, your lower back, some of your, not your shoulders, but some of, like, you know, the these moving parts of the shoulder blades, and some of the other ones have an energy that needs a renewal, that needs a life force to get you moving. They want you to have a movement happening, and they want you to trust yourself, and they want you to stop waiting and stop asking, but they want you to come and sit in this circle, because if you do this for 7 is always a wonderful number, for the next week, you will have the ability to say right here, right now, I'm receiving, I'm connecting, and then see a mirror reflection of that circle, okay, of pillars and crystals below you, above and below, exactly the same. See that other you above and below, above and below, above and below. And then those two are going to merge, and those two are going to start to create a healing vortex. And until you do that, there isn't any other message other than do that. Excellent. Wonderful. I love that. Muy bueno. A selenite stick. Yeah, selenite is a wonderful crystal. It works with the angelic realms. It also works with your higher self, your intuitive guidance, your crown, and it's often in a pillar. I have a whole bunch of little ones. They're not here. I guess they're downstairs. And so that 111 we saw, or that idea of being a pillar of light, you have a pillar of light as part of your light body structure around you. And so yeah, use that. Use whatever you have. You're so welcome. Ascending universal butterfly. Oh my gosh. Yes, Marnie, as I scroll up and down, I'm letting guidance tell me who to do the readings for. So I'm going to do one more now, and then we're going to meet again tomorrow. And I'm going to let at least one of my students is going to come and maybe do readings for you too, who came to the school and then started doing this as her business. And so, however, when I see someone, right, and it jumps out at me, and every time I see your name, Marnie, I see you in the class. And I think you asked a while ago what's optimal for you. And I checked with the pendulum. I got out of my head and I checked. And I said that this intuition class was optimal for you. So that's actually the guidance for you today, is jump into that. Use the bonus that we give you right away. And then when we get started on the 3rd, you're going to see a huge leap in where you are now and what you want next. Okay. A huge leap. And I know it might sound to new people like, well, you're just telling us to buy shit from you. But I know Marnie. I've worked with Marnie. She came to my retreat, and this is really a resonant place for her, because for most of us, it's the idea of trusting yourself, being guided, welcomed, and activated to a new level of ability, to being held inside of a container that can hold you and amplify your abilities, and then give you the feedback and the trust and the confidence to trust yourself, to step out, to follow through, and help having that interpretation within a community, a loving community. And we have a WhatsApp group that we'll all be talking on, and it creates a beautiful, you don't have to be on it, but it creates a beautiful group together. So Noor is Faisal coming towards me romantically, and is my connection with him going to develop? Okay, I love this question, because this is a question I'm going to use a pendulum for. And I have very specific pendulums that I use. I recommend stainless steel because they don't take on energies. However, the Jaguar is calling for you. So if you are drawn to Jaguar energy, or if you've ever felt the Jaguar energy, that is a very relevant, very resonant for you. And this was a gift from a beautiful woman who was at my retreat. And because I am a Jaguar medicine woman. Okay, here we go. Got that on. And I'll show you. It's a Jaguar. That's a Jaguar head in two parts. So this is the pendulum that, and again, I don't recommend that you just grab any old thing. Although people say, oh, you can just use a button and a string, and you can, but you need to be pretty good at being a clear and open channel. So I'm going to just write this down. So I'll teach you a little bit of pendulum right now. So I trained with a lady, and we had to do charts for people and animals around the world and test from 0 to 100, every part of their body, their subtle body, and everything else. So every chakra, every liver, every, bones and systems, the brain, and everything. And then we got a very detailed chart to begin to work from. And then we determined that the treatment as well through pendulum in a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage is something that holds the energy out, all the beaming energies, which we have so many of now, to have clarity, to connect clearly and very quickly. So I'm going to put what is optimal for Noor. I hope I'm saying your name right, at this time. And then I'm going to write Faisal, and romance. And so what I'm doing is I'm asking on a clear piece of paper with nothing else on it, okay? Don't confuse it or you won't get a correct answer. It is what is optimal for Noor. Now I'm going to connect to her and to be a clear and open channel. And then I've written down this question, okay? And what I did was I wrote this name, and I wrote romance, and then I wrote now, wait, other, yes, and no. Okay, so the options that I gave on the pendulum cheat is, I'm not going to show it to you because it's just my way of doing things. Yes, no, now, wait, and other. And you always have other, always have other, always have other, because maybe you haven't asked the right question, okay? So it has to be a clear and open channel for Noor and her highest good. Do I have a clear connection to Noor and her highest good? Okay, let me get rid of this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I got a yes, that I have a clear connection. Now, I ask, is it optimal for me to ask for guidance around romance and Faisal for Noor? Yeah, I can't see it. I got a yes. All right. So now I'm going to put this here. And as I do it, I start it moving, and then it's going to move around the chart and point to the answer. Okay, I'm going to put it down because I feel like the energy is wobbling a little bit compared to what I know. I like to make sure I'm very clear. So I put my finger on what is optimal for Noor and the question, and then I let the pendulum go. Well, it's interesting because I wrote the word romance, but it actually wasn't supposed to be one of the answers, and it keeps going to the word romance. So let's put our finger on romance, and now we'll ask again. And I get a yes. Okay, so romance and yes are very strong, and that was the answers that the pendulum gave you. And the Jaguar guide is going to be there as an opportunity for you to help you see in the dark, see when you're stuck, guide you with divine love. Okay, my loves, let's see here. Let's go back. All right. Well, thank you all so much. What a cool use of the crystals. I use them daily. I will make a circle of them. Now I love this. I have worked with the Overlighting Deva of Healing. What a beautiful card. It is such a beautiful card, such a beautiful being. And she's wonderful to call in and to call in any kind of healing. So I thank you all for coming, and I apologize. Not really, like, I don't know how to say that. Thank you for asking. If I didn't get to you, I'm sure you probably got some kind of message from what came through, because there's always something here for everybody. And we will see. I will see you tomorrow. We will double check our links and make sure. I will send out an email this afternoon. So make sure that you're at nanakasha.com. You're subscribed so we can get you the replay. It's going to be right here the minute we hang up, so you can come right back here. However, we will make sure you get the right link for tomorrow. And thank you so much. Thank you, Lucille. So come tomorrow, Lucille, and you're so welcome. Thank you heaps, Sonia. And Lucille, make sure you come tomorrow, and I'll make sure we do a reading for you. Okay. I just tried to email your support address through the link, but it says not valid email. Any ideas? Let me post it here for you. I don't know what it is, but let me see. Try Nanakasha, ASST at nanakasha.com. And you can try me directly, nan at nanakasha.com. And I don't know what you're trying, but there is support and I'll ask Chris to double check it. I don't get those emails. Whoops. Oh, there we go. There is support at nanakasha.com or admin. However, I don't know which one does. I love you too, Lisa. Thank you so much. So thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you take all this wonderful magic out with you into the day. I hope you will join me at the retreat, or especially in the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp. I think you can see how valuable it is to be in a community, how valuable it is to understand that there's information coming to you from everywhere, and continuing to trust yourself and become your own authority. And for healing your body, or healing your marriage, or healing your relationship to people who've passed on, or healing grief, and healing your money, and healing your path of a job, and everything else. So it was support that didn't work. Okay, thank you. I will ask Chris to check that. So try one of those other ones, Joy, and ASST at or nan at, and then my website, which is nanakasha.com, which you can see right there. Okay, thank you, everybody. Namaste. I love you. Bye.